Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. I'm officially calling this meeting to session at 6:01. We are going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Please rise if you are able to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now a moment of silence as we consider those who have gone before us. Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, we are down our clerk this evening, so I am going to be kind of filling in on duties. So I am going to do the roll call. Deputy Mayor Ryan.
Here.
Trustee Hanselman.
Here.
Trustee Sauer.
Here.
Trustee Shuttig.
Here.
Trustee Walreed.
Here.
Mayor Allen is here. Also joining us is Attorney Elena Finnan. So, hello, welcome. And at this point, we are going to start with our swearing-in ceremony. What's that? Did I not say you? Oh, I meant to. That's because I skipped to Brett. Trustee Alter, are you present?
Sure.
Thank you very much. All right. So, as a result of our previous election in March, these are the official start of the terms as of April 1st. So, we are going to do our swearing-in ceremony for each of our 4 trustees. I will be, I get the honor of doing that. So, Brett, if you want to come up first over here by the American flag. And afterwards we will, and the rest of you trustees, if you want to kind of get ready to move up there, that would be great. And when the meeting's over, I'll have you officially sign the oath and I'll be the witness. All right, you ready? Okay. Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Brett Hanselman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of trustee
the duties of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome and congrats. Thank you very much. All right, so you want to pass? I state your name.
I, Deborah Arthur,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of trustee
the duties of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congrats and welcome back.
Thank you.
Megan?
How are you? How you been?
I state your name.
I, Megan Walreed,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of trustee
of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congrats and welcome back.
Thank you.
Finally, Mr. Chair. Make sure to mispronounce your last name.
That's right, you gotta spell it wrong too. I didn't get a high school diploma.
All right, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Daniel Shutty,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of trustee
the duties of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Outstanding. Congrats again, welcome back. Thank you guys again very much. The other way there, sorry. Need to get a sign out there. And again, we'll sign the oath book at the end of the meeting today. So thank you very much. Okay, we have 2 public hearings on the agenda tonight. Because of the way they were noticed, I'm going to do them in reverse order as to how they show up on the agenda. So trustees, I'm looking for a motion and a second to hold a public hearing regarding proposed local law C, authorizing property tax levy in excess of the limit established in General Municipal Law Section 3C.
I'll move.
Thank you. I need a second.
Second.
All right, thank you. All right, so we are now in public hearing. just as a reminder, this is a local law that should the board decide that we need to set a property tax that is in excess of the tax cap, which currently in the tentative budget it is not set to do that. But should we feel the need to do that, it requires a local law. That local law has been officially introduced in the last meeting. It requires a public hearing to be passed. And it generally, we're going to talk a little bit more and summarize the budget, and we have another meeting specific to budget discussions and hopefully budget adoptions that we've already scheduled and noticed as a special meeting in 2 weeks on Wednesday, April 24th. We will also, if it's all right with the board, we can move to set a public hearing in that one as well. It would just be a separate public hearing where this one is required under village law pertaining to budgets and timelines. We can set a second public hearing just if we want to. So that is kind of the background behind this. We as a board can also share our opinions on this, but at this point I'd like to turn it over to anyone, just get an idea if you'd like to speak regarding this proposed local law. It doesn't require us to go over the tax cap, but if we decide that we need to, we have to have the local law or we cannot do it. So that's kind of the mechanism and the reason why we're introducing this. So can I get an idea of who would like to speak regarding this? Okay.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure, please.
Is there an amount at which you can exceed
Uh,
cap, or is it just an open-ended authorization?
There is a it's called the 2% tax cap, but there's a formula that never comes out to 2%. Our maximum allowed actually came out to 1.02%, and that is where the tentative budget sits right now, is making that recommendation. Once we exceed the 1.02%, that would be going over the tax cap, and that sets in a whole nother list of rules, and this is one of the rules should that be
Just to be
necessary.
clear, the tentative budget, the budget the mayor has proposed, we have not proposed that or
Yes.
reviewed that.
Yes.
Right, and also just know that our intent is not to go spending wildly to go over the tax cap. Like, we're
Right.
gonna do everything we can to stay.
In fact, most I think have voiced the desire not to exceed the tax cap.
But I do think, Trish, are you asking, once you exceed
Is there a
the
certain amount
statutory
over
limit?
which the cap that
Right.
you're asking to
Is
go,
there a
or is
second
it
cap?
just
Is
a
there a
higher
cap?
event
Right.
after
Is there a
that?
second cap?
She's
Right.
asking essentially, is there a second cap, like?
No, once you exceed the 1.02%, which is what our formula ends up being, then it's all, the rules apply.
Okay.
There's no additional one after
And
that.
and for the second hearing,
Mm-hmm.
if there is a revision of your budget, that will be the budget that's being proposed, that public comments will be
Correct.
made, and then decisions.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, and just to kind of reiterate the process, the treasurer and the mayor work together to propose the budget. We put it out there, but it is not my budget or Denise's budget as the treasurer. The full board gets to adopt it. So what we've done in the past, and we've had special meetings that are specifically focused on budget decisions, that allows trustees to ask detailed questions. The treasurer, who's not here on vacation this evening, she will be there for the 24th. We'll be able to have time to meet further with the treasurer and answer questions the trustees have. The trustees will propose changes via motions. Those motions will be passed or not accepted. We'll keep track of it in our spreadsheet, and the idea is to adopt it at the end. So that
Just off the subject, but is that, if that chair is not being used, the gentleman from
yes.
Eagle is here, maybe we can just put it there.
Yep, I'll get a couple of extra chairs out. Can I have a couple extra chairs there? While we're doing this, is there anyone else who has any questions on the votes?
Yep.
Trustees, is there anything else you want to share regarding this? We'll keep this hearing open for a little bit longer, just in case other people come in late. But with the permission of the board, we'll move on to the next public hearing, if that's all right. Okay. Just want to, I'll make notes on that later. All right, I'm looking for a motion to open a public hearing regarding the tentative budget for the fiscal year June 1, 2024 through May 31st, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bobby.
Second.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, the public hearing is now open. Same rules apply. While we prepare for that, I just want to kind of give a couple items and summary points on the budget. It does stay below the 2% tax cap, as we discussed before. It proposes a 1.02% increase, which I'll give context on what that means shortly. As it stands now, the general fund would be short 32,453, which would be offset by current fund balance, so that breaks off even. The water fund side of the budget would be short 82,526, which would again be offset by current fund balance, and the sewer fund would basically break even. It actually shows a little bit in the plus, but one of the suggestions I'm going to have after speaking with Denise is to, if we are over, and we just basically put that money in contingency should something come up. The other points I want to say, what this proposed tax increase translates to is a house that is assessed at $100,000 would pay an additional $19 from what they had paid last year. 200,000 assessment would be additional 38, and it just basically goes up in the same sort of rate proportionally. So that's how this proposed tax increase would work as compared to whatever the previous tax was that you paid last. And this is separate from the current reassessments. That's so the town is our assessing agents, and there's a reassessment that has been proposed for some time in late May for people to come and ask questions. And
I don't think that those numbers are will be finalized by the time this budget is done, because there's a grievance process and there's
yeah, in fact, I think part of the budget requirements is that is finalized by April 15th. So there's no way that would be finalized.
Next
So this is okay. So that would apply to next fiscal year.
And the town's reassessment is probably based on the town's budget cycle, which is calendar year, so we'll probably.
So that should not have any.
It should.
Okay. Okay. That's glad to know that. So.
Has the tentative budget been distributed to the public?
I didn't bring hard copies tonight, but I do. It's on the website right now. If anyone wants to see
That
it.
just happened today?
No, it's been up for a few days now.
Oh, nothing.
I'm trying to find a web browser that I have open where I can show you the village website. Right now, as I typically do, we put the budget information right on the very top. So this mentions the public hearing tonight. It also mentions the special meeting that we've already noticed for April 24th. And if you click any of these links, it will open up that particular budget, and then you can download it or print it out or whatever. And if anyone wants hard copies, just stop by the village office and ask for a hard copy, and we'll provide you one at no cost. So at this point that we have the public hearing open, is there anyone who would like to speak regarding the tentative budget? Beautiful. All good.
Well, I have a concern, because it's a tentative budget as if it's proposed by the town board. the village board.
I'm sorry, say that again?
It's a tentative budget implies that it's proposed by the board to the public, and it's not. It's
No,
basically
that's-
a budget that's prepared by the mayor and the treasurer,
Yes.
without board input afterwards, that's been put out. And I wanna be clear about that.
Well, yeah, but that's
It's not our budget, it's the budget you're proposing.
that's the way village government
This is the
typically
Well, it's a
works.
mayor's budget.
That's the procedure, though. That's the
It
standard
could be the
procedure.
procedure, but I wanna be clear about the word tentative.
Isn't it just semantics?
No, I don't think so.
No, I mean that's fine, but yeah, that is the process. That's been the process as it always has been. And what's typically done, which is what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, is once the budget is out, then the the mayor and the treasurer and two trustees, or one or two at a time, will sit down with any questions they have, get all the information they need so they can propose whatever changes they need to do. We can't have three trustees sitting down, because once you have three trustees and the mayor, that's four, and that's quorum, and that's an open meetings law violation. And that is where this comes. So the standard process is department heads get their requests to Denise and the mayor. We put together the tentative budget. We put it out for review, and then the review process starts. And as I said in the email, I was late to get you guys the budget ahead of time, which is why I was very grateful for the special meeting to be scheduled right off the bat, so that we would have more time to sit down and have those discussions. But that is the standard budget process for village.
The standard budget process is established by us as the standard budget process.
No, like village law municipally, that's
not-
how
That
it's done.
says it has to be
So
when the mayor and treasurer.
typically what happens is the mayor and treasurer do put together the tentative, then it gets reviewed by the trustees. Any changes become the preliminary budget, and the preliminary is ideally what gets voted on, and once adopted becomes the
Yes,
adopted
but
budget.
the point missed there is whether the tentative budget's out to the point of the public input is reviewed by the trustees in this case before it's, even after it's released to the public. I wanna be clear about that, to the public, that we have not reviewed this budget as a board. This board is coming from the mayor and treasurer.
Yes.
Okay. I
That's
just wanna be absolutely clear about that.
sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's the standard process. That's just
Yeah, this isn't anything new, this is
Well,
not.
to me, it's new.
No, I'm just saying, but it's nothing,
Right.
it's
And maybe
nothing
everybody
new.
in the room is new.
Right.
It's nothing new, that's the way it's been.
Same for cities too.
Well, it doesn't mean you keep doing it that way.
Doug, it's the same for cities. I sit down.
I don't know, so the city board doesn't see it until after it's released?
I just sat down in Amsterdam.
Well,
and I just sit down in Amsterdam and talk about some things. The mayor sits down with all the department heads. I have the department head unit. He puts together a tentative budget and then he sends it out.
And I'm fine with that being from the mayor and treasurer, it's not a budget being proposed by
I just
the
think we're
board
making a
as a
mountain out of a
tentative
molehill
budget.
here. Okay.
okay. Anything else? Anyone else want to speak regarding this tentative budget?
Can I just raise one point that I'd like to just encourage the board to consider?
Please, certainly.
My name is Trish Bloomer. I serve on the police review board, which we're grateful is back up and running. And we've been meeting with John Hudson to help him just go over budget issues and try to figure out some planning and understand the process a little better as to what he's looking at for needs for the department.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he had proposed, I believe, we looked at a working budget last week that he proposed. Some of the numbers were still in flux. Some of the measures on there, I believe, were kind of pushed back on a little bit, and because they were pretty hefty numbers for new technology systems that we just don't think we can see fitting into the budget yet, and I get that, and that makes sense. But there were two items that I think got pulled or decreased in this new version that I would like people to kind of give some thought to whether we can push back in, at least so that it stays on the table for the time being.
Absolutely.
One of those is a new police cruiser. The department, for who doesn't know right now, has 4 cruisers available. I know that John and the department have worked hard on trying to get us into an accreditation program for the department, and there are certain things that are required in order to even be, you know, in the running to get accredited. One of the things that you technically need is to have a cruiser for each officer that's on duty at any given time. And I understand that 4 cruisers may sound like a lot in a village this small. There are a lot of special event days where we need more than 4 police officers out there. You know, parade days and big concert days and holidays, and not sure that 4 is enough, but even assuming 4 is enough, some of them are getting pretty old. And if we don't at least start budgeting 1 car in each couple of years in a cycle, we're really gonna end up strapped one year where you've gotta add 2 or try to fit 2 or 3 cars at the same time. It's just not gonna be feasible. So I would like to encourage the board to at least consider whether there might be room to put in for one of those in this year's budget. The other concern that I had about was we had suggested for AEDs, which are kind of like the mobile defibrillator units that go into the vehicles. I believe 2 of them are being proposed in this budget instead of all 4. And I think that that's just one more. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that we've got some issues in the village. There are some drug issues in the village. All of those things put a burden on the department. And AEDs are a really, really significant life-saving device that probably, if you had the police showing up to help you, you would want a cruiser that had an AED in it. So to have only 2 instead of 4 is just putting us at some risk. So I think it's another measure that's worthy of further consideration.
Thank you. And to clarify one item on that, and thank you for sharing that. That's the point of the public hearing, so we're glad for that. The police actually requested 5 AEDs, 4, 1 for each cruiser, and a 5th one for the main lobby. I had intended to, I think the expense was approximately 2,000 each or 10,000 total. I had intended to put 4,000 in there. I ended up, I think, putting 400, and didn't catch it until after I'd released the budget. So that'll be one of the things that I, talk about with the trustees, and one of the things we propose as a change right off the bat. But that's kind of one of the items that was brought up. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do we have some now? Do we have AEDs in the police cars now?
Yes,
they're
old.
obsolete yet.
Yeah.
They're old.
They're so old.
Very old.
Oh, that reminds me, I'm sorry, there was one
No,
other
you're fine.
issue.
You're
I'm
fine.
sorry. The server that the department uses is pretty much at the end of its life.
Mhm.
I mean, I think there's just a certain timeline that they give these systems, and I think this one has been kind of considered end of life for a while. The server is what supports all the different databases and information systems, and with all the enhanced technology, if the server goes down, in the long run, that's gonna cost the village a lot more than if we replace it before it goes down. Because you stand to lose a lot and have to recreate a lot, once that happens. So I think the server is one of the three larger technology components that, that came off that I think it would be helpful to at least consider trying to find budget room for.
Thank you, Trish.
Do we know by any chance the 80,000 that's budgeted for a police car, is that state contract price, do we know?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Right, John?
Would anyone else like to speak about the budget? Yes,
Last minute change of mind here. So, Joel Leva,
thank you. Oh, I forgot to get street address, cause that's part of the speaking, you have to share your street address. Trish,
Okay.
what was yours?
Well, the business is 21 Lyman Street.
Alright, that's fine.
Thank you.
And Joe, sorry.
let's go with 140 Church Street.
Alright,
I think it was the January meeting where we discussed the planning committee for New York Forward and kind of threw my hat in the ring in that particular moment. You said you'd reach out. Where are we on that? Is there any update?
What?
you're talking about the local planning commission. A group of us met, we had a list of a lot of names that we had to trim down. We submitted the list of names to the state for approval and we're waiting on that. That's part of my updates.
Did I make that list?
No, because I would have contacted you on that and asked you. We first put together our list of trying to get, with all the goals that they have, various goals of diversity of experience and age and professional whatever and ties to the village, that sort of thing. The group that we worked on, we put together the list. I finalized the list and sent it off to the state. My apologies. But we will, as you'll be hearing soon, all the meetings are going to be, I think all the meetings are open to the public. I have to
Yes.
double check that. But
Yes,
all the,
yeah.
and there will be, Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, one or two specific meetings to hear from people on all various things going on in the
There's two
process.
public hearings, two
Okay.
formal public hearings that will specifically solicit input, and then every meeting, I think 4 to 5 of the local committee, planning committee are open as well.
Yeah.
But there would be 2 meetings where input is gonna be, that's the purpose of the meeting.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak regarding the budget? Yes, sir. Just state your name and address, please.
Don Worry, Willard Street. And, I think we'd be better off spending a lot of money more than it is to keep all this criminals around. We've got a phenomenal number of people selling drugs, some of them that sold them the year before last year. The investments are better. Thank you.
Thank you. John, you say your last name is Lori?
Yeah, Lurie.
Thank you. All right. Would anyone else like to speak regarding the budget? All right. We'll again keep the hearing open a little bit longer. We'll close it later this meeting. If we want to decide that we'll have another public hearing on the special meeting, will we do that via motion?
Mhm.
Would someone like to suggest or set up forward a motion to set another public hearing on our special meeting on April 24th?
I'll move.
Thank you.
Second.
All right. Further discussion on setting a public hearing. It'll be here at the meeting, and do you want to call it right at 6 p.m. or do you want to schedule it for 6:15 p.m. to give us a little bit of time to talk through things? I'm fine either way. We just have to notice it specifically in the
I'd say 6, people aren't gonna remember 6:15.
Okay. Sure? Sure. All right, further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? All right, carries. So we have set a public hearing and we'll notice that tomorrow. All right, so trustees, I'm gonna move on with the next parts of the meeting and we'll revisit public hearings one more time when we get to people to be heard. Alright, so these are announcements that are part of the agenda, and in case anyone didn't get an agenda or report, so you can come up here anytime and grab them on the end of the table. I've already mentioned the special meeting. We'll now have a public hearing involved in that at 6 p.m. Our next zoning board of appeals meeting is on Tuesday, April 30th at 6 p.m. with the planning board meeting will be the same evening, the 30th at 7 p.m. Both of those meetings are located at the municipal building. You alright, Bobby?
Oh, yeah, no,
Alright.
looking at dates on
Yep, no, that's fine.
wrong spot.
Alright. Street sweeping will begin on Monday, May 6th, and it will run for 4 weeks, ending on Thursday, May 30th. Howdy, welcome. What's that? The heat's on? Hey, Kenny, can you turn the heat off?
The switch is on the heaters.
Oh, it's on the physical heaters. Sorry. Alright. Joyce Brewer from Friends of the Banks and Battlefield and joint with the Historic Society in town would like to use Wood Park on May 18th for a chicken barbecue. It starts at 11:30 a.m. and will finish around 3 p.m. and I think it's the Moose Caboose who's providing the food. One thing I forgot to mention, trustees, in emails, I've worked on creating a Google Calendar for us to keep track of Wood Park usage as well as courtroom usage as well as this room usage. So that's just so we know that the dates are clear and we don't overbook things. So, trustees, if that is good, I would entertain a motion to approve the use of the Wood Park, as noted there. Dan.
Second.
All right, thank you, Megan. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye, opposed or abstentions? All right, carries. And one more thing to announce, we are looking for alternate members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. We do have full zoning boards and we do have full planning boards right now. But with the recent local law that we passed, this allows us to have alternate members should a member or multiple members need to recuse themselves on any business that they're involved in. So if you are looking to be an alternate for those boards, please reach out to the village office. You can also reach out to Deb Alter, who is on the game when it comes to those boards.
You have to live in the village, you have to be a resident of the village, correct?
Yes.
Rob, do we need to appoint chairs of those boards? Do we-
Next
Oh,
meeting.
jeez.
Next meeting,
Yes, we'll do that at the organization. Well,
that's what, Elaine,
When
that's what
is-
you had said last time.
So the
No.
So it has to be they have to be appointed by this board. If there isn't an appointment, then when it comes to the next planning and zoning board, the membership of each of those boards can make a motion
who
to
chairs
have
the
for
committee?
just for that meeting.
so we can do that when we do the organizational meeting and all the appointments on the 24th, if that's all right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So a few mayor updates. They're on the agenda. They're on the screen, but I'll just quickly go through them. It was an honor to be involved in a groundbreaking ceremony to announce the construction of our water line, which is finally, the design is finished. They've been lining up all the contractors and that work will start in May with the hopes that at the end of this calendar year, the construction project is done and we will be switching to the new water source. It's a major milestone that has been nearly a decade in the making, and it was great to have the head of New York State DEC, the commissioner of DOH there, town supervisor was there, the SIPWIC co-chairs was there, and Michael Hickey was there. I actually invited him there myself to make sure he was there because, you know, he's such a key part of this. So just wanted to thank all who were involved there, and everyone who's been involved in this long process. New York Forward update. As I mentioned before, the state is going to approve our LPC committee membership. We're anticipating that to be early next week. Once that happens, then the LPC members will need to take part in a live training, a webinar training. There's 2 dates, which I'll get in contact with LPC members when that list comes about when those dates are. And if there's an afternoon and an evening one, and if neither works, they can just watch one of the 2 that were recorded. This will go through the process, go through their responsibilities, cover any ethics concerns that would happen for, you know, grant-related business. And then looking to probably start the 5 to 6 month process in late May or early June. And at the end of that process, there will be project details and plans submitted to the state for final approval. Doug, you want to add anything to that?
I don't know anything, you know it all.
That's all I got. That's just all from the phone call.
The only question is, can community members attend that training, or is it just limited?
It's just LPC members. But I will ask that. I will ask that.
You guys know, LPC is the local planning,
Which is mandated.
yes.
How big is it? Like how many people?
12 tops,
12.
including the chair and co-chair.
They say 12 to 14.
14.
12
Oh,
to
they
14.
increased it.
Yes.
After we set things.
Yeah.
I will find that answer out, Doug. Okay. I'm thinking what it was explained to me by Matt Smith was that it would just be LPC members. But one of the things that you're going to hear a lot about from us is that these grants are very specific in nature and processes and all the things that have to happen. It's tedious to the point of being overly tedious, but that's just,
But
you know.
just as you're talking, I see
Sure.
I see no downside to community people being able to see a recorded session.
I don't see
To
why
know
not.
what this is, because it's complex, and to have open process, and then you gotta explain what it is and what the role is, it's an orientation to the
Mhm.
community
And
as well.
avoid the whole
Yeah.
telephone
Yeah.
situation.
I will ask, there is always the possibility of us being able to post the webinar if we get our hands on it on the website. That may be part of it, but I'll find out. Third item, we're getting our first newsletter out. I'm gonna be posting that on the website either this evening or tomorrow. It is coming in the water sewer refuse bills. I have a digital copy of this somewhere on one of these windows that we can take a look at it. It's not this one, here it is. This digital copy will be available online. This is something that we're trying to do with each of our water bills, just because it's a standard mailing that goes out 3 times a year. And again, funds are tight, so we're not looking to throw, money at a second mailing. We're trying to make sure this all works together. But we have updates on the New York Forward Grant, water source, new local laws, the misuse of the village sewer system, which was something we talked about in our last meeting quite a bit, upcoming projects, and I was able to speak with former trustee Kevin O'Malley and get the full list as it stands right now for the summer concerts. I also spoke with Bill Gaylord to get information on all of our concerts for July and August. I've already thought of things I wish I had put into this, so now that we've done this once, we'll start thinking about what we can add next time.
I think this is a really good and important thing, and it's great that it's on the website, and it's great that it's going in the letters, but I think it wouldn't hurt anyway, to put a small pile of them, like at the village office that people can pick up,
Sure.
maybe in the library, maybe up at Wood,
Good idea.
the
Woodbridge,
Wood
the
Park
senior
housing,
centers.
yep,
Yep.
at the senior center, exactly. Great.
I like that.
It's just a matter of printing them, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
iron coffee, wherever.
Yeah,
you
it's
like
just
that.
printing
Doesn't
them
matter,
and
but get
getting
them
them out
that's
there.
the point.
I know the girls in the office will be so happy to hear we're gonna do this every month.
Yay, more folding.
Every month, every 2 months.
Every 3 months, every 4
I
months.
also thought about
Feels like 3 months.
if it was okay with you guys using Facebook to basically put one article up at a time, so that can spread and people can discuss that thing. So we'll cycle
No, I
through
think
all
that's
those
fine, I
items.
think that can't be our only one though, because not everybody does Facebook.
Right. But it's another way to get the word out
And
there.
I
So.
don't believe in government by Facebook.
Yeah, and what I'll do is you'll see the newsletter on the front page over on the right side. You'll see it, and we'll be able to archive it in the future. And again, I have it in the thing there. But thank you to all trustees who were involved in a bunch of different ways. Whether it was something like just proofreading and making sure that we caught as many misprints as we could, or doing a lot of the early work to share files and get comments out there. So thank you guys all for that. Let's see here. Why is my arrow not working? I've already mentioned, we've talked about this, so it's already on the website. The meeting's coming up, so that's already been gone through. And this is the point now in the meeting, the people to be heard section, standard part of our meeting. And just as we have already practiced, when called upon, begin with your full name and street address. Share or speak to the board what you would like to discuss. This doesn't need, it's not always a back and forth. The board can choose if they want to do that or not, but we do try to limit things a little bit, and if we don't, kind of can get away from us. So just to get an idea, and you can speak to anything. It doesn't have to be specific to the public hearing, anything related to village government or thoughts or shares. So Can I get an idea of who would like to speak to the board? One? Alright, Bob, I'll
Just me?
limit you for 90 minutes. So, no, I'm just kidding. Let's try to stick
It
to
won't be as long
5
as
since
last
it's
time.
just you. Alright.
Bob Coronas from 46 Mechanic Street, and I
Thank you.
just wanted to simply ask if you guys done anything about the issue on First Street. Since I was here last time, I know the fire truck's been there twice. Police car, I see at least 3 times, maybe John knows the exact number. And they got 2 illegal cars parked on the lawn, making a mud mess, and a dog now outside that's barking nonstop. So I just wanted to ask if you guys, the last time I was here, you said you were gonna check in other areas to see what they did about people.
Local law folks, anything new?
Do
I-
you wanna comment only because I know you would send.
I had sent out an email just to kind of get it started that, I mean, it kind of reiterates what I had suspected at the last meeting, which was that there is legislation out there that essentially makes it so that the village could not take into account police calls when putting together a nuisance law anyways, police calls that may relate to a domestic violence victim or a victim of a crime. So, you know, if the police are constantly called to a house because there's a DV situation or something that could be a DV situation, we can't count that as points in any type of nuisance law that we may look to put together. I know that that was some of the discussion.
So we can, oh, you're gonna
there-
shut that. So we cannot count.
Miles, those things are.
You have to be very, very careful when, you know, determining as far as police calls to a location and the reason for the call, so as to not violate a victim's rights.
So as an example, if there's just like if they're following up on some random incident and it's not a call to that, they're just doing police business, that wouldn't fall in.
But if it's like a concern such as unlawful weapons that's not related to DV, or, you know, obviously drugs, illegal drug use, things like that absolutely could be counted. But
Would that be on the police to communicate that to code or village, if assuming we get a nuisance law put together and revised?
I mean, I think it would be incumbent upon the particular parties to communicate,
Okay.
the different departments to communicate with each other.
What about the 2 cars?
That we
I
can
don't-
just
There's
have.
no parking in front of a house or on your lawn, and there's 2 cars, they recently got a new car, so they got 1 parking spot that's maybe legal, it's next to the house, and now there's 2 cars in front of the house. And I know there's a code that you can't park in front of your house,
Like on the lawn, you mean?
on a lawn.
Okay.
So that
Well,
could
any
be-
car can't be, you can't park in front of your house. Unless it's a design parking spot, but there's not too many design parking spots in front of your house.
And it would also probably tie into what the parking laws are specific on certain roads, because like my road, legally I think you can park on one side of the road but not the other side or something like that.
This is on the lawn, this is not on the road,
This is completely off the road on the lawn.
this is in front of their house on the porch.
Okay.
I know Kevin O'Malley knows it, I'll reach out, he knows exactly where it is in the,
It's just being picky now a little bit on my part by bringing that up, but.
Well,
It
the
may be
problem
the
in the
only
village
options.
overall.
But drive past there, it's a mud mess now, and summer's coming soon, and they're already on the porch drinking every day, they got their chair on the porch already.
We will follow up.
Dog
There,
outside barking.
there is there's a balance between freedom for people's rights and when does it go so far that it's a nuisance and it's
Mhm.
enforceable. I understand that. I know with the junk car law, there's a specific criteria to see if it is in fact a junk car, and we'll follow up on that.
are any of them junk? Like,
Like-
To me, they're all junk.
No,
And
no,
I
they're
sat there,
Dan, no, they're not.
and he brought up that one of them has a broken window with plastic taped on the back of it. I mean, it's just.
I don't know if-
Yeah.
I don't know if that would I don't think that would count.
It doesn't count, I mean, they're personal cars, if they're junk or not, they're personal cars, they could be legal or not.
Do
but
they
they-
play some?
Yeah, I don't think they're legal, but that's for John to discuss. but-
We will follow up.
Yeah,
We'll follow up. We'll look into it, and if you have not heard from me in like a week, just shoot me an email.
okay.
Awesome. All right, thank you, Bob. Anyone else? Well, how about go right here first, and then we'll go back there.
Ed Granger, 22 Scott Street.
Hi, Ed.
How are you, Bob?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm wondering what the village's stance is on, and this is coming to Hoosick Falls, it's coming everywhere, squatters coming into these empty houses and just occupying them. I know it's a tough situation, they have rights. It's not a really good situation for people that own these houses, but it's happening frequently.
Without saying too much, and John, feel free to don't say anything, or just if I say too much, cut me off, please. But that is an issue that I think has been an active issue recently here, and it has certainly opened up some eyes, because to me it feels wrong that I can just go into an abandoned house and live there and can't be
Certainly,
forced
yeah.
out. At the same time, these are people and human beings, and
I do think I saw some legislation that they're working on in regards to that.
yeah.
Clifton Park recently passed an ordinance, and I don't know, I didn't read it. Some of this stuff is political theater, and some of it is actually substance, so I'll take a look at it and see what they did, but my sense is that, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we're in New York, and I'm sure that there's a lot of preemption in the state law about what, that heavily restricts what we can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that passing a local law that just allows you to go in and kind of drag people out is probably not gonna pass muster.
At least not right now, you can't.
I think it would be challenged and lose pretty quickly.
They are on private property.
Yeah.
But to that point, we have an awful lot of abandoned buildings in Hoosick Falls.
We do.
And it's an open book, it's gonna happen. And sooner than later, it's
You've
already
been working
happening.
on that, the abandoned
Well,
buildings.
it's already happening by you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, not just by me.
No, I'm just saying, I know it's happening by.
Yeah, we have a couple on my street, but it's happening all over.
So we're essentially talking about a homeless problem.
I don't think
Well,
that's.
it's certainly not homeless,
This scenario is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
This one, the one Eddie's talking about, I know in general he's talking about, that may be an issue, but the case he's talking about is, this individual is.
Well, we don't need to go
Right, but I'm just saying,
specifics on
that individual has chosen to move in there, it's not because they don't have a place to live.
Okay.
But-
Are you talking just generally about some mechanism to restrict just in general
I
someone
guess
moving
what
in?
I'm saying is, there's a lot of abandoned houses in Hoosick Falls that are wide open for people to walk into. At some point, they used to board them up and they used to secure them so people couldn't just walk into them.
They still should be. So if that's not the case,
It may be worth considering a public service announcement to kind of recommend that if this is really becoming an issue in the village, so that homeowners that might not otherwise think to do something like that are tipped off to it.
I think under our new law that we passed last year, which was.
Louder, please.
I said, I think under the new local law we passed last year, which was the vacant property registration, isn't, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but part of that is an escrow which can then be used to secure the building, right? If the owner of the vacant property or whatever doesn't properly secure it.
An escrow is part of the law, yes.
And some of that money could be used if we want, to say for example, someone leaves.
The money is to be used for whatever we need on the property.
Okay, so we could contract that out to have it boarded up out of that escrow money, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That was something we did
Go over your
last year.
budget.
What's that?
You would go over your budget.
No, this is escrow money that the owner of the property has to place in escrow themselves. This is not village money. This is private money that has to be escrowed for the purposes of maintaining at a bare minimum the building while they're not there.
Yep. Anything else, Ed?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
One more?
Aiden Graham, 8 Carr Street. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is my first meeting, but I was just wondering
Welcome.
if I could get a brief summary of what you meant with the misuse of village sewer systems?
Absolutely.
I know that was discussed in the last meeting, but.
Absolutely. Any chance we have to explain this, I am going to take and then some.
Oh, do you have the pictures?
I do have the pictures. So we have found, we have had two situations where our new infrastructure, the past probably 4 years, has been disrupted and or damaged by things in the sewer system, such as pieces of wood, old mop heads, clothing, and towels. And I don't mean like paper towels, I mean like actual towels. So people are forcing that down in through the sewer system. All of that sewer system gets pumped down to the wastewater treatment plant for proper treatment. But as you can see, this part of the pump, which is the impeller, that damage has come from stuff that should not be placed in there. So in this newsletter, we talk about please don't put those sorts of things down there. Also, we mentioned that grease, fats, and oils should never be poured down a drain because that stuff will eventually clog the pipe. Kenny.
A lot of it comes from sump pumps that are illegally hooked into the village sewer systems. They're not supposed to be, and a lot of that is caused by grit, stone, dirt, whatever gets, sucked into your sump pump and pumped out.
Yep. So sump pumps in the basements will kick on when the water level rises with heavy rains, and that will flood our sewer system, which is not supposed to be handling storm water. It's a sanitary sewer system, and that has caused a tremendous amount of extra water and such to go through there, which is not designed for, which also causes problems. Good?
Is the newsletter all we're doing about that, or is there some other things that may be done in the future?
We are looking into what legally recourse we can do to and make sure that people don't have their sump pump connected to the sewer system. There was a situation many years ago where they did the like a smoke bomb. They place it in the manhole and the smoke goes through the sewer system. So if by chance you have it in your house, all of a sudden this weird colored smoke, not like fire smoke, but weird smoke comes up in your house. It's like, what's going on? And we're like, you are connected to our sewer system improperly. So that's another option we can do. But we're looking into it.
Put one of those ink dyes things in there so that,
Yeah.
you can't wash it off, so.
So the thing with the smoke testing is, so it could cause respiratory
Yeah.
issues, it can cause damage to the home, so we were told that was probably not a good idea.
And it's super invasive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, some people may just be hooked up and not know, but that's
Right.
part of what our messaging is to make sure people understand you should not be doing that. So, thank you, Aiden. Anyone else? All right. One more chance to speak to our two public hearings, either on the local law for the tax cap or the budget. All right, hearing none, can I have a motion to close the first public hearing, which was specific to the proposed local law C authorizing the property tax levy in excess? Dan? And seconded by Megan? Or, no, Brett got it, he spoke, I heard it, well done, Brett.
Go, Brett.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. And I'm looking for a motion to close public hearing number 2, which was on the tentative budget for 24-25.
Motion?
Thank you, Bobby.
Second.
Thank you, Megan. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Great. Thank you guys very much. We'll be revisiting the local law later in new business. Just so that, or in old business, I think, so it's coming. All right. Moving forward, we have minutes that, no, I'm sorry, police reports. Police report. John, take it away. You have 30 seconds. I'm just kidding.
So, 281 calls, we're a little bit down. Officers have been in the station doing policy review training, things like that.
That's good.
10 arrests for the month. In comparison, there were 76 calls in the town that were handled by state police or sheriffs. And there were also, separate of those, there was 22 unanswered calls in the town. Our body cams have arrived. The training has been pushed out to all the officers. We are waiting on the union to reply to the policy. Once that's done, they will be out.
Mm-hmm.
The speed trailer, some of you have probably noticed, it's up on High Street.
Yep. I've noticed that works like a charm.
As of Sunday, it started collecting data.
Those people right down.
No, Monday it started collecting data, because I put the transmitter in it. And then it's going to start moving around, and we're gonna use it until the sheriff's department decides they forgot where it is and come get it.
I think they should.
John, are tickets being given from the point that you enter the village to that sign? Because that sign is what, 150 feet, 250 feet? So are you giving tickets at the point that they go past that, or?
That sign does not write tickets. That is just.
No, but are you policing that before people get there? That's what I'm
Yes.
asking.
Yeah, we usually sit right down by the line, we'll face in, or usually not out, because you're not gonna get anybody out, but we'll face in.
Okay.
So if you, and it's pretty obvious, you drove past a police car.
Yeah. I have a question about that. Why does it blink when you're below the speed limit?
Doesn't anymore.
Oh,
Oh, that's good.
thank you. I'm so glad for that.
I was gonna ask about
I'm
that.
surprised how much that bothered me.
So I played with it over the winter, and then I got it to actually show the speed. Don't tell Justin. So I played.
It's not
with
like these meetings are recorded, so it's totally
and,
fine. Meetings are recorded. It's
I
right there.
adjusted the speed, so now it'll just show your speed, but it won't flash.
Okay, thank you.
It's probably best for the neighbors too.
And it was a little, I didn't adjust the brightness, but yeah, you can only imagine the brightness in that house.
Yeah, that
Yep.
flash.
So yeah, at some point they're probably gonna come get it, but we're gonna use it until that point. And the officers will be going to firearms the 20th.
Qualifications?
Yes.
Would those
Last night-
qualifications be on the new weapons, new guns?
Yes.
Sweet.
And all officers will have their own weapons issued.
Village issued weapons. That's fantastic. And
Including the new recruits?
No.
Okay.
okay.
Not yet.
Just wanted to ask.
They already asked, and I told them.
Do we have guns for the new recruits?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I want to make sure.
Otherwise, lots of changes,
Again.
and we're gonna start like moving things around the office, so if anybody wants to come visit.
I literally just reopened the window.
It's because you opened the windows.
Please feel free to stop in.
All right. Trustees, any questions? I will note I was very surprised. Oh, we mentioned police vehicles before. We do keep track of mileage on a regular basis. So to Trisha's point and on the CRRV and the police's point, 3 of our vehicles are over 90,000 miles. So we're
One hot topic, the parking tickets, we did issue, what, 34?
I have that up on the data. It's on the top. Parking
Yeah,
tickets issued 34. The first meeting that Kevin is gone and you issue 34 parking tickets. He's gonna be ecstatic and frustrated all at the same time. No, that's
Kevin
great.
got 3 of them.
All right. Unless there's any questions, I'm looking for a motion to approve the police report.
I'll move.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Deb. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Thank you. Code enforcement report. Mark. Is he back there?
Yeah, just, he's still here.
I'm here, ready for any questions.
All right.
I'm not sure if there's anything that you want me to address.
One thing I want to find out from Denise when she's back is the timeline when we're made whole on the demolition of the recent unsafe structure, so that if we decide there's another unsafe structure that needs to be addressed, we can start down that process again. I know that gets re-levied to the county, I think, but I think it's good to have that in mind, and if we feel like there's another unsafe structure that needs to come down, we start down that process.
Rob,
Yeah.
what's number 4, West 63rd Street?
Say that again?
We're not that big yet.
Active village court cases.
Oh, that's probably missing a space.
Oh, no, that's the name, West Sixth Third Street, correct?
West is
Right?
the last
Right, Mark?
name. 63rd Street, not
It says
63rd
West,
Street.
63rd Street, yeah.
It's in Manhattan.
Yeah.
63rd Street's like over the border.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in New York City.
that's probably supposed to be 63rd Street. My bad.
We should get the time.
Any other questions from Mark? Hearing none, looking for motion to approve the code enforcement report.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you, Bobby and Megan. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Thank you, Mark. Record time. Fantastic. Treasurer report. She's not here, but you guys have the information there. Any questions you want me to forward on to an otherwise vacationing treasurer to hit her with on the way back?
Do we have vouchers for tonight?
No. So she will be back, and that'll be the first thing.
We'll have those for the 24th.
Yes, definitely for the 24th. I'm
Okay.
gonna make note of that. Any other questions? Things you want to highlight?
No, Denise has been working with me and with National Grid trying to get our situation settled for the LED streetlight project.
Yep.
So
Yep. All right. Looking for a motion to approve the treasurer report.
We skipped the code, we didn't vote on code report. Code report.
We did. We did Bobby and Megan, and we did the voting.
Oh, okay.
Looking for motion to approve the treasurer report.
motion. Oh, Brett.
Oh, Brett gets it. All right. And second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Brett. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Clerk, deputy clerk reports. Anything you guys want to highlight? Olivia's in her second month right now?
Yep.
Second month. She's picking up things quite well. She's certainly been thrown in the fire with all the FOIL requests, but we're on top of it. It's going well.
Where are we with FOIL requests? I mean, what are they?
What's
I
that?
mean, what are the FOIL requests that we have?
The FOIL requests?
Yeah, I have no idea who's doing
Typically,
that.
we are not involved in the FOIL request. The clerk is the records management person. So when the FOIL request comes in, it's forwarded on to attorney for review. If it involves police, because there's some things that the police would just provide, but other things have to be FOILed, it gets forwarded on to them.
So as a board, we aren't informed of what those requests are.
No, but there's nothing stopping us from doing that.
I mean, I heard of one in the community. I'd rather know about it rather than have somebody in the community said they made a request and I know nothing about it.
Well, we could either make a general policy to forward requests out to the board. I don't know if that's
You're telling this group that the mayor does not know what the FOIL requests are?
No, I know what the FOIL
I don't.
requests are.
The board doesn't.
And that's just in a sense because I'm making sure that our new clerk is aware of how FOIL works, what her responsibilities are, how to do that, setting up all the structures and contacts so it's handled in the proper way, the proper timeline, that sort of thing.
I'd like to propose that the board be aware of when these requests come in.
I don't see.
You wanna be informed of every single one?
Yep. Well, again, you're gonna hear about it in the community, so it's better to hear it.
Would it work better if Olivia just kept a list and we could check in with her at any time, call her and say, what are the ones
She
on the
does
board?
have to keep a
I don't
list.
know.
She has one.
She keeps all these
Alright.
records. I don't think there's anything wrong with
Just let us know that when it's been requested and who it is.
Yeah, and one of the first things that happens on a FOIL request is you either, if you have the documents quickly, you just respond with it, or you just basically within, I forget off the top of my head, I think it's 5 business days, you have to get a response out that says, I have received it. We've made it a policy of literally including what the FOIL request is in that, so there's no harm in just saying, asking our clerk, once that response has gone out, to forward that response out to the board, just so they
Sure,
know what's
email
going
them.
on.
Right, and I know in the case of the one that you're talking about, Doug, that's in process, she contacted
I got it from you,
The requ-
you have a sheet.
what's that?
Ooh.
I had a he visit my house.
No, I'm saying she is in the clerk,
Oh, okay.
responded back to him and let him know that she was gonna be on vacation and the response would be delayed until she got back from vacation. So she was proactive in letting the person who submitted the FOIL.
And
I
that's,
think as long as the process will work transparent
No, I-
about
yeah,
that
I
issue,
think-
that's all.
I think that's a great idea. I think it's proactive
The other
thinking,
thing,
no.
it could go in the, oh jeez, I thought I turned this off.
How many do we get a month?
What did he say? Oh, she could put it,
I'll answer that in a
each
minute.
month she could put them in the,
Her clerk report?
And it's clerk
But
report.
that-
I don't know if,
I don't think you want that in public, going out there.
You can say five FOIL requests.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
But who it is a different issue.
we can, yeah, we can
Yeah,
put how many
and
received
anybody's
and that
interested
sort of thing.
can go in and ask.
We can also put in how many were completed, because there's a
Yeah.
process to it,
It's
so.
public information, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
FOIL, somebody could
Right.
FOIL what
Right, it's
FOIL
public-
requests have
Right, it's
been.
public information,
I've had
FOIL
people do that
requests, not how
before.
many FOIL requests.
right.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. That's a great idea, Doug, getting those responses out just so we know what's happening. Just to mention it, if anybody has questions on FOIL requests in New York State, the Committee on Open Government is part of like the New York State government structure. They have the rules on it, how it works. They have various opinions. I think even court case decisions that were made, so that you can find out a lot of things on the FOIL process and even get into the weeds on some of the odd nuances that happen. So that's good. Any other questions on?
On the village?
Oh, that's so. Just we actually standardized the form a couple months ago and standardized a similar police one as well, and those are on the website. Once we've done that, we've been getting, I would probably say,
More than we were.
more than we were in the past. Because in the past it was like
More than you want to
once
have.
every couple months, or if there was if a court case comes up or if someone's bringing charges, the attorney will do that. But that's kind of separate. Little simple ones like we weren't just getting much, but now that we've put it up there and out for people, which is part of government, and that's good. We've probably been getting 2-3 a month.
Oh, I would say even more than that, but maybe not.
Yeah.
And the ones that involve the court specifically, that goes to the village office, not the court clerk?
No, court ones, if it's court specific, we don't handle that. The court would handle that.
Okay.
They have different rules.
Yes. Yes.
Rob, on the village clerk report, we should mention that the water and sewer and solid waste bills are going out tomorrow.
Yes, they are clear.
Everybody be so excited to get them.
I'm so well. Hey, it's a newsletter, so it's very exciting. All right. Anything else you guys want to add or mention? Hearing none, looking for motion to approve the clerk deputy clerk report.
Motion.
I'll go Megan and then Deb second. All right. Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Thank you. Highway DPW report, Bobby.
Kenny, got anything you want to add?
We we finished up the Greenway today, we're just waiting for the arrival of the new kiosk.
I meant to get those pictures from Jerry to have on the screen. I'm sorry about
So
that.
that's done, like I said, we're waiting on the new kiosk.
That's great.
I sent you the quote for the new dump truck, did you get that?
Maybe.
So it was right around 200, like
Yeah.
we discussed, it came from deliveries from OJ. So they have a plan now where we can, instead of like making a monthly payment for the dump truck, we can do a yearly payment of like, for like $200,000, it would be like 40-something thousand a year. So we could budget that for a year and make that same payment in, over a 5-year, and I think you can even do it, like stretch it out to a 10-year, and then you could have a greater turnover of the trucks instead of having a 20-year-old truck, I mean, it lessens the blow, I guess, from.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you can put, right, you can
It's
put.
a lot
it
easier to
in
budget for 40K than it is
Yeah,
for
and just
200.
work it
Yeah,
every year.
So I submitted that in with when I sent you the,
Yep. And just to, I forgot to mention this earlier. By the way, I'm forwarding that on to the trustees right now. I forgot to mention this earlier. One of the things in the budget process that has always been a little bit convoluted to me is that I kind of feel like you have to be able to read hieroglyphics to figure out where everything is. And one of the things I've been wanting to do is develop more specific forms that are specific to not just a simple to read salary scale, because the salaries pull from different parts of the budget, general, water, or sewer, but solidifying what the department requests for, such as police, DPW, water, sewer, what was put in the budget, and it makes it very clear where those are in the budget, so that will allow trustees who oversee the departments to say, hey, why is, like Trish said, why is the server not in there? And then it'll, I think, empower us to have more specific, detailed discussions. It's always kind of been a frustrating point. So those documents will be coming out, and then I have to ask you if those are public documents that I would share or how that would work, but that's a question for another time, because it's a new thing I'm doing. Sorry, I just totally got off the track there. DPW stuff.
Kenny, I'm sorry.
Go for it, please.
Are we, the brush pickup, is that gonna be kinda like by ward?
It's gonna be done next Monday.
It's already started. Started April 1st.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I was on vacation.
Yeah, it started April 1st.
I know before we had talked about doing it by ward or
Yeah.
whatever.
We just
Just go around and pick it up?
Yeah, we just drive around every day and pick it up. I mean, there's maybe 2-3 piles a day tops.
And what do we do with the brush? We put it on that pile that's out there?
Nope, I dispose of it.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna do anything with that pile that's out there?
We're,
Oh, that's-
discussion of that.
We have discussion coming on that.
Oh, okay.
That works out.
Never mind.
And then Kenny and I talked about the excavator today.
Yep.
I'll get in touch with you tomorrow, or one of us will not get it.
Yeah, I know that Elena had mentioned she had someone in like North Greenbush or somebody that did. Because if I call like Capital Tractor or like a dealer, they're gonna come down, because it's in good shape, they're gonna lowball us, we're not gonna get a fair, I don't think anyway, for somebody that wants to purchase it, they're gonna come give us a price and say, well, it's worth $60,000 when
Right.
it's worth $100,000.
You're gonna have it appraised, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it, before we put it out to bid.
The person that you mentioned, Elena, can like showcase it, whatever, like takes pictures and.
So in fairness, I know somebody who knows somebody.
Oh, okay.
But the person
I
that
know.
he's used, I've talked to him about this
I know a
before.
guy.
The person that, or the company or whatever that he uses, yes, they'll take the pictures for you, and he said that he's always been like very successful with selling Niskuna and stuff that way.
Good.
Sounds good to me.
Anything else for Kenny? Looking for a motion to approve the highway DPW report?
Motion. Second.
All right, thank you.
We could probably get some good money for those old dump trucks, right, Kenny?
That was Bobby and who?
Megan and Bobby was the second. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Carrie, sewer report. Kenny, anything you want to highlight? Or Megan, sorry, anything you want to highlight?
No.
I think we got the issue at Lyman Street figured out.
That's great.
They're coming down, they're waiting for a warmer week, they're gonna come down and tear the other pump out and rebuild that to make sure that's, because obviously the impeller and the other pump is probably the same.
Yeah.
So right now, that pump's limping, but we're running on the new pump that they rebuilt, and
It's going well?
And the float is working properly now, Kenny? or-
yes,
Okay.
yes. They do wanna change the float, they wanna put the float on the other side, that's gonna be another $500, I don't know, but I think it's worth it, we just do it.
Whatever it
Yep.
takes to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions on sewer? Hearing none, looking for a motion to approve the sewer report. Thank you. Doug, need a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bobby. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. And water report.
I don't have anything for this. I know that we are working on getting quotes for the dehumidification unit. I sent a site survey and some questions to the guys. They had an engineer come, to kind of give us ideas to take away the humidity problem that we have. There were some pipes that were insulated. Anything else you could think of?
No, I did ask the engineer that was there, nice guy, by the way, I can't, the exact company escapes me, that came out and did the quote, that did the tour. He thought, I said, just kind of, what's that? It might have been Family Dance.
That sounds
I said,
right.
give me kind of a rough idea, where is most of the moisture coming from in here? Is it permeating through the floor? Because there's no plastic on the concrete, as I understand it, between the holding tank below and the actual room to stop that moisture permeation. He thought that about 80% of it was coming from pipe sledding and stuff out there, so.
Yeah, that's where most of it comes from.
Yeah, so, and that may be not horribly expensive between a dehumidification unit and wrapping.
Yeah.
And while I think we were both in, they were, the green pipes, AKA the ones that we operate but don't really own.
Yes.
Yes, the ones that are maintained by the companies. They were wrapping those with these absolutely massive pieces of, like, they come in huge boxes.
Insulation.
Yeah, like big pieces of rigid insulation. They were wrapping all those,
Yep.
which should be done by now. That's, I mean, surface area wise,
That's
as
a big
far-
deal.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what he took. It wasn't Jim told me how much it was. I wanna say maybe it was, the cost for what the companies did was maybe 8,000. But a lot of that expense was because they're up in the air. So
Right.
the ones that we own, most of them are
Right.
They're already
near ground.
wrapped. Or in the ground, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They don't require any type of scaffolding or any type of access to get up in the air, so it may be something we wanna look into, wrapping our pipes. We do also have a couple things down there are sketchy at best. There is one filtration pump that is not, it is continually leaking where it seats with the main pipe. There's a lot of corrosion there, so there's no way to replace it. We were talking about maybe grinding the surface clean and putting a new gasket in, but they tried putting gaskets in. But that's about 40,000 if we have to replace it. Just yeah, I know. It just is I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but right now it's just.
Have you tried duct tape? It's significantly cheaper.
Oh.
They included on the spacecraft. So
Yeah.
plus we'll be.
All right.
I go with Gorilla.
Thank you, guys. Anything else? Looking for motion to approve the water report? All right. Thank you, Dan. Need a second?
Second?
Thank you, Bobby. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? All right, carries. Thank you. We are on to minutes. Oh, I'm way behind on this screen. You guys received the... Brad, I don't know if you received the minutes. That may have been before you were officially on, so feel free to abstain or recuse, whatever. Oh, that's right. You'd abstain anyway because you weren't here for those meetings. So there you go. I sent out the March 13th regular meeting minutes. Unless you guys noted anything that needed to be changed or added, I will take a motion to approve the March 13th minutes.
Motion to accept them as presented.
Thank you, Bobby. Need a second?
Second.
Thank you, Megan. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Abstaining? Thank you, Brett. The very, very short March 19th special meeting minutes where the election results were officially certified. Unless there's any changes, looking for motion to approve.
Motion, acceptance presented.
Thank you, Bobby. And any second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? I mean, technically,
I was there.
You were
so
there
I
for
could-
it. Would he abstain anyway?
No, if he was there, he can go.
Boom.
Okay.
Done. All right. Awesome.
You were there. That is great.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to trustee committee reports. We don't have to necessarily go in this order, but we certainly can. We'll start. Trustee Alter.
We just turned with me.
We don't have to.
No, please don't.
All right. Start with Bobby on this side of the table. Bobby Ryan, what do you got?
Just the real term energy as far as the LED streetlight project. We're at the point now, we're just trying to get the contract finalized with National Grid to buy out the existing streetlights. And we need to move forward with signing the agreement for the smart controlled lights. And then to authorize RTE to, well, we actually have to put our name on the purchase orders to go out to the vendors, the suppliers for the materials. So we're not quite ready to, at that point yet. We need to review the contract for National Grid and get that signed and authorized first, and then we'll be able to move forward.
All right.
So hopefully, at this time next month, we should be able to say that we have all that behind us. And I'm hoping to do it before that, but my plan is to try to have it done by the next couple weeks.
Sure. All right. Anything else, Bobby?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you. Trustee Hanselman.
Actually, I am trying to organize a volunteer village cleanup.
Ooh.
In honor of Earth Day.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially either the weekend before that Monday or the weekend after. Most likely the 27th. So the 20th would be the weekend before.
April or May? When?
April.
Okay,
April.
sorry. Don't know when
Earth Day is the 22nd.
All right.
So most likely the 27th or 28th, that Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
actually wanted to get some feedback from Kenny to see what areas you think would be best for us to try to, like,
So are you talking like just garbage, trash in general, or?
pretty much clean it up, make it look a little nicer than.
So we kind of do that every.
Right, so I mean,
So,
like, if, perchance, like, the garbage cans around town, like, if they're overflowing, can we,
yeah,
like,
but
can we just go and change them out? Like,
You can, but we pick them up once a week,
Right.
we empty those once a week.
Okay.
Used to be, in the old days, we had, Deb, you're gonna hurt yourself, go ahead.
No, I don't accuse me of not moving. I don't want you to accuse me of not ever moving.
But that's your dog.
We are one and the same.
In the old days, we used to have the shrubs that lined the front of the park, and that was just a total garbage collector. There used to be trash in them all the time, and we'd have like the high school kids come in the spring, and we'd do a cleanup day, and we'd rake all that out, and, I mean, we really don't have much, I mean, you know, we go out and we sweep the sidewalks, you know, we sweep the streets, we get the street sweeper, I mean, you could do, I know that last year we had some individuals came down and they did the Greenway Trail, they walked along the Greenway Trail and picked up trash, and we could do that. I could leave a dump truck, you know, or even a pickup truck, I don't think you're gonna get that much trash, you know, on the Greenway Trail, to, you know, you could just throw it in there and then you bring it on a Monday or something like that. We could figure something out, I mean, I got my two little ladies that walk around town too, picking up trash.
Oh, yeah. So Ellen and Terry, right.
In the past, Brett, I know that Hayseed 3 did it years ago, and then
Hoosick
either
Rising.
yeah, Hoosick Rising or the Armory or somebody did it, and volunteers have become scarce.
Yeah. So
But the real big helpers are Seiko Wing, guys from Seiko. Do you know Joe McDonald?
Yeah.
He's the guy to reach out to. He brings lots of people and equipment and all kinds of stuff. And they do things too that Kenny and his crew don't do, like. They went to the businesses and washed some of the windows and some of the, the, I don't know, little gardens that needed tending to. I know there was a garden in the, sort of next to where the firehouse is, that was, that got cleaned up. There's all different things happen around the armory, because they don't really have a staff. There are public places certainly that.
And there have been times in the past, and Kenny, this would have been Neil, but they would if there was a bunch of brush that was being taken care of, they would just either put it in a pile, or the village would leave a truck for brush to be added to.
Or anything, I mean, it was mainly like brush, raking, clippings, raking up, old leaves, stuff like that.
So that's great, definitely talk to Devin, Kenny, and plan that, and as soon as you're ready to pull the trigger on it, we'll get it all the information out.
Okay.
That's great. Did you enjoy your tour of the DPW earlier?
Yeah.
Well, awesome. All right, anything else, Brad?
No, that's.
Look at that, first one already in. All right, Dan.
I see you have it later on the list. Do you want me to talk about the shared PR website development?
Let's wait until later.
Okay, well that's what I have for.
Okay.
I'll wait.
All right, Megan.
I don't have anything to add except for I'm really excited about the new water supply that's coming. I feel like we've waited so long, so that's huge. And then I just wanted to touch on the need for vehicles and how it's really not in our budgetary line. I hear that we need a dump truck that costs $200,000. I think it would really be advantageous to put in our budget yearly a sum of money. I mean, we need police cruisers. The water department has been saying we need a van for probably the past, at least I know, 3 years. We really should think about that. I know we don't have a lot in our budget, but it would make more sense than saying, hey, all of our vehicles, need to be replaced at once.
I will say that we have been, as a village, behind the 8 ball since before I started as mayor in 2017, just with PFOA in general and energy and horses and extra debt. So I think one of the nice things that we're looking forward to is not just the new water supply, but trying to get whatever negotiated done and be past that, and that will finally free us up to make that type of really, really good planning in the future. But point taken.
Concurring with that, I think vehicles depreciate, and I don't think we even keep a depreciation schedule or fund balance of our assets, which we should.
Kenny, have you ever had a schedule on vehicles, depreciation, anything like that?
A value, yeah, it should be, an accounting office should do that, that's an asset, but I think we need a 3 to 5 year plan, because as opposed to waiting till crisis happens, we don't have the money.
That's what I've been trying to,
Yeah.
that's what
I
I
agree.
was
So it's better to bite a little bit of the apple now every year than, and then you don't have to swallow the whole thing. So I think we need to really look at maybe all those depreciable assets that we have to have and plan it out over whatever their life cycle is.
That's a
Start
great
with just
idea.
taking an inventory of
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
stuff.
Let's
And the value of that. You have no
What-
choice.
What scares me is eventually these trucks are gonna pass inspection with the police cars, and,
Right.
Police cars don't have to pass inspection.
well, ours don't either, actually.
We do it, but we don't have to.
Well, then what are you worried about, Kenny?
And,
I've seen how Fred Flintstone drives.
But we need to be planful about our
right.
assets that are depreciated.
Right, and I think speaking on that, going back to the water department and the deunification, I keep saying it over and over again, and it's just like, if we don't do something, we're looking at, I mean, the plant is corrosive in its own nature. We really do need to make sure the environment is not leading to us having to fix all of these things.
Can
Sensitive.
perhaps, now that we're looking at the budget, is it possible to have a small board committee that looks at assets across departments rather than department by department?
That's really cool.
And,
That would be
and
cool.
think that through and say a 3-year plan?
I don't see why not. I mean, the financial side of things is not my
Wanna do it?
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I know, Brett has a lot of banking
Yeah.
history,
Brett's a
so
finance guy, so he'd be a
All
great
right,
asset.
Brett, here we go.
The other problem I think that we come up to with vehicles is we have a lot of vehicles failing, which means we're gonna end up having to replace a lot of them.
Yep.
Really, we want it structured so that we have a vehicle every 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
I think we're gonna end up replacing a whole lot of them at once, which means they're all gonna
Did you
die.
just say that?
Well, the problem with that is you're talking 80,000 for a police car,
Yeah.
you're talking a couple $100,000,
Yeah,
so it can't be done over the course of 2 or 3 years. It's gonna have to be a continuous maintenance program, right? And there's gotta be a starting point, but we're at that point where we need to get going on it. You're right.
absolutely, we're
Actually,
past
Ken-
that point,
Kenny was
yeah.
talking about being able to finance it out of one.
Well, yeah, that's a truck, that's,
But that would
we
be
can't do that
helpful.
with, you can't do that with police
No,
cars.
no, no, I know, but that would be helpful with some of them.
Oh, absolutely.
And
We can budget
that-
that in every year.
That type of financing would be like normal course of business for village government, but we just have so many other things that once again tie back to PFOA and all
Right.
that stuff, but that's what we're trying to get past, so.
Okay.
Megan, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a
Go,
question.
please.
With the dump truck, you said we could work out a plan to pay off a certain amount. Was there any like interest involved in that? Or
I didn't look over that
6.2.
well. I sat down with Jeff Delury, yeah, I mean, obviously.
But is that the monthly?
Right.
And he explained to
I'm
me there's a
assuming
couple
that's
different
monthly.
options out there. I'm not a finance guy either, but the one he gave me that I sent through to you was like I think it was a 5-year program. And so at the end of this 5-year, you start, or the end of the 4th year, you start planning for a new truck and it just takes over. It's just another, so you trade the one truck in, you get a new truck. I mean, I'm sure you could stretch them out longer. I mean, I don't know how long you want to stretch them out because they start to lose their value after 7, 8, 10 years.
And how old is our current
The newest truck we have is almost 18 years old.
Oh,
The newest dump truck. The newest dump truck we have is a 2007 or 2008.
Okay.
Denise will also have a lot of information on what our short-term bond options are. There may be other ways to qualify with better interest rates than that one. But yes.
The interest rate 6.2, I just looked at the thing here, 6.2%, the annual payment on the dump truck's about 45,000, so we'd be paying over the 5 years. Yeah, so about 25,000 in 5
But you're also
years.
selling excavators.
Right, that
And that's not in this
shave
budget,
off.
is it?
It is not.
So there's,
It's what?
it's not
It's
in this
not
budget.
in the budget.
No, that's just gravy.
And the excavator is going strictly to the replacement of a new truck, correct?
What's that?
The excavator money is going towards.
That is a board decision.
Right.
The problem is,
Keep it in-house.
there's certain things we can't put in as anticipated revenue, like, we've already kind of casually talked about the possibility of finally getting to the end of the PFOA situation, and that will involve some sort of settlement of some form, but we can't just throw that in the,
No.
well, maybe, I don't know if we could, but I'd have to go through attorneys on that. I don't think that's the kind of thing you can build into the anticipated revenue. I think it just happens. And that's why sometimes in the budget, you'll see like this random revenue come in, and that was because of one of the previous deals we had done with the company that got us, you know, whatever got us in the past.
We do have sale of property as a budget revenue item now.
Oh,
And last
okay.
time it was in 2020 or 2021, 22 was $5,000. I don't know, but it is a line item for revenue.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will bring that up with Denise. That's one of the many things we will be talking about. That's
Kenny,
great.
Do you get any money at all for those old trucks? Like just scrap value, basically?
Sure you could.
You can sell them out. We used to buy them at the landscape company I work. So
Even in that bad shape, yeah.
I mean,
Farm trucks where they never leave the.
Yeah, I mean, we've sold
Old
a couple
rescue
of our,
squad vehicles?
Yeah.
we've sold a couple of our
That's in
older
good
dump
shape,
trucks
though.
to,
Really
to,
hot.
Pasho Farms before.
Okay.
use the same bid process, and there's guys that'll buy them.
Right,
That
it's surplus equipment, you know. put it
That
out.
Well, I didn't know if it
Instagram
was to the
trucks
point where
are
it's just
a hot
lay
commodity.
it and get steel
Yeah.
parts.
Right.
You can't do that.
They don't make that
You
international.
can't just scrap his truck.
And the good part about the trucks is, I mean, they're low mileage and they don't really idle, so they don't have high hours on them either. You know, because once we're done with them, we back them back in the shop and we shut them off, so.
Right.
So the hours match the mileage. I mean, I think the oldest one has like 40,000 miles on it, 45, 50,000 miles.
All right.
But they take, but it's just the weather, the elements that, you know, and, you know, the salt and stuff is what gets to them.
Yep.
Right.
Megan, anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you, Doug.
During the St. Patty's Day parade, walking down the street with Bobby Ryan, and I'm gonna bring this up given that we have the local New York Forward program starting, that I think we need to put out for discussion, what are we gonna do about the senior citizen center building? Are we gonna do anything, or are we gonna let it sit? This is the time, I think, to discuss it. I think we probably should have some internal discussion before a committee starts. I also would like to recommend that we request that the county keep the Murphy name on the new building. I don't know,
What their plans are, right?
it could be McLaughlin Building.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah, but I will. But I think we need to openly now deal with that issue, because it's gonna be a problem, as they're making progress doing that, and we got that sitting right there.
Right, what are their long-term plans for that building?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and New York Forward is a possibility for investment there, or whatever we do with it.
Right.
Agreed.
And maybe there needs to be a conversation with the county, or at least starting a conversation with them.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. I would be glad to have that conversation, by the way. That's, yeah. Just keep asking me if I've had that conversation yet. Thank you. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Deb.
Okay.
I know you have your big item later in the meeting when we talk through the transfer station, but
So, a couple things I've been working, first of all, I sent you guys, I don't know if anybody saw the Washington Post and New York Times statement.
I
The
did.
EPA,
I saw it.
yeah, you did, the EPA, passed a law for, what is it, 3 or 4 parts per
they've
trillion.
set both an MCL that is actionable for PFOA and 5 other PFAS, and they also set like a MCLG, which is like a goal level. Some of them are actually, if you add 3 or 4 of them together, it has to be under a certain number. The PFOA number was interesting because it's 4 parts per trillion, which is lower than New York State's, which I think was the lowest in the country, one of the lowest. It's a pretty incredible moment. It really is.
Yep, and I maybe this is wacky, but my dad had this imaginary pair of rose-colored glasses whenever something was. Always try to find the silver lining, right? And I think now that all these municipalities are going to have to deal with this, we got one dealt. I mean, as bad as it was, the outcome is terrific.
There are
For
two.
us.
There's. I would love to have the time to put out a really full statement on this because Hoosick Falls has been so involved in this. It really is an incredible moment, and Hoosick Falls as a community and what we had to respond with, it really put the pressure on New York State, and New York State responded, which put the pressure on other states in the country. And Hoosick Falls really does have a seat at the table of some of the most important influences to get to that point. The second thing was one of the chemicals that was built into the MCL is Gen X, which is one of the newest and most commonly used replacement PFAS chemicals, and in particular down in North Carolina where they've gotten a whole bad set of pollution from this chemical. it works differently, but it has still been scientifically shown to be very bad to consume. Fortunately, we
This is a
have
new
not
chemical?
detected it here. It's one of the many thousands of chemicals, but what was amazing to see is within about 7 or 8 years of that being used, there is already an MCL. And when you think back to when PFOA was first notified from the EPA to when the MCL, that was like a 30-year process.
When I talked to Robert Billat, he said, I think it was Parkersburg, Virginia.
Parkersburg, West Virginia.
It was 30 years
Yep.
until they got even anything, like blood
Yeah.
testing. Like, so it was monumental,
Yeah.
the response that we got. It
Yes.
really was.
And I've talked to and Jim has also and Josh have talked to so many different people from different communities who are now dealing with PFAS contamination. They are all in awe of what we have here. Even an attorney from an unrelated to our local issues here, a settlement regarding PFOA, was just blown away by what we as a village have. And that is, you know,
Yeah, yes.
go community.
That was one thing.
All right, go for it.
Okay, I've been working on, we did talk about, we didn't pass any laws or anything, because we don't know if we have to, about the 1 hour parking on that short section of John Street between Church and Main. Because
Mhm.
no stores on that, in that block really need more than half an hour, never mind an hour. And now it's 2 hours.
During weekdays?
Yeah, we can make it however we
Because if
decide
you
to
go
do
into
it.
the restaurant, then you might.
Yeah, no, I say until 5, like from 8 till 5, something like that.
Like business hours.
Yeah, so, yeah, obviously we need it for the restaurant. So, and then I think there's also one place that should be, we don't have any, ADA parking on that street, so that's another thing. But anyway, the question was, can we do that, or does the state need to do that because it's Route 22? Well, nobody really knows.
It's Route 22.
Then let's just do it.
State
No, well, I
highway
made several,
going through the
many,
village.
many phone calls. And I kept getting transferred and a new number and so one person's, the first people I said, oh, that's a state road, you know, we're gonna do all of it, we have to decide, you have to apply, there's forms, you have to, da-da-da-da-da, right, and then they would provide the signs, if they decide to go.
You know, Mechanicville has a what's the route that goes, the state route that goes to
67.
That's a lot of stretch in Mechanicville. I bet someone in Mechanicville has had to address this issue in the past.
Well, I could try, I'll try that next, because, but anyway, the last person I talked to was supposed to just confirm it and get back to me, but she said, you can do it, she thinks we can do it,
Okay.
and don't write this down, please.
I don't think you get to say that in an open meeting.
Well,
It gets everyone's attention.
personally, I think we should
she's got her
just do
full
it.
readiness.
I think we should just do it. Then
Then you'll find out if you can do it, yeah.
We'll get an answer.
Well, actually,
That's my personal opinion.
if you think about
Colleen,
Cambridge,
what do you think?
I
you made, it's all state highway.
could
so
double check, but I'm
Right,
really
but
positive
who
we can
put
do
those
it.
speed limits, the state or the town, the village?
Well, I
That's
think
the question we need
I think
answered.
the speed limits are probably, but as
Not
far
the
as-
speed limits, the parking signs.
Parking,
I
yeah.
don't know,
I
Cambridge would
think-
be, it's all state highway, then, what's it, 372 or what,
Think we can?
Cambridge is 22.
It's 22.
You think
We think we
I
can
think
do
yes,
it.
I'm
We're
still
gonna
gonna
look
try and
into
reach
it.
her,
Let's do
but
it.
think of it, you
And
know?
then what's the other one that goes to,
We can?
313.
I said I think we can.
All right,
I can double check, but
If we
I'm
can,
pretty
do it,
sure.
let's do it.
John.
When I was looking at the parking laws, I
Mhm.
think it cites the business district in our parking laws, so I think it's us.
Okay. Because it is a
Oh,
business
that's
district.
interesting. Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
So now, okay, now we have to, I guess we have to make a local law.
Just follow up with me and I'll double check, but
Okay,
yeah,
so-
then we would just draft the local law.
Great. Yay.
Anything else
Yeah,
before
I
we
got a whole mess of notes here.
fire away?
Let's see. Oh, maybe I don't. Hang on, give me a second. I was thinking, a lot of people have been asking me now that there are, people are starting to see that buildings are starting to get fixed and there's, you know, all that kind of stuff. And buildings start getting worked on and people ask, you know, how long is it gonna take or what, you know, what, is it gonna come down, what stage is it at? So I was wondering if it might be helpful to Mark or to any of us to know, like if we made a form or whatever, to, when Mark gives, it's a big problem, like say the building next to, on Classic Street. So maybe there could be a, like, plan, you know, this date, this has to be done by, this date, this has to be done by. I don't know if that's something that works for you or not, 'cause people say, well, this is happening, but what's gonna happen next? Or, you know, does that, am I
A
making
schedule of
sense?
some sort.
Yeah, schedule for repairs or,
I feel like this is gonna, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this is gonna fall into, if they don't follow it, it's the enforcement side and the court side where it takes time and we sort of lose control of pushing it and really moving it.
is that something the court should do and not, I don't know. I mean, it's just an idea that I had, I don't know. Mark, you look at me like I'm not making any sense, am I not
We're
making
kinda
sense?
already dealing with it with all the properties that we're dealing with now, that the people aren't making the repairs on their buildings and.
And they all have dates and stuff, they have to
Yeah,
finish
they
this
have-
repair by this much progress by then, this much progress by then.
I think if,
You can think about it a bit, it was just an idea that I had that I thought might be helpful.
I feel like typically when people are cited, there's a time limit you give them. Generally
Not-
speaking,
but
not
not
always,
always.
but generally speaking.
No, there is, you know, part of the issue is, and I try to track it as best I can, part of the issue is having the time to get back to the follow-ups.
Yeah.
You know, it comes back to the whole thing
That's where the
about
assistants come in.
In the budget.
having enough time to
Yeah, the
do
assistant.
everything that needs to be done.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we got.
No, this is not a,
This is an inventory of the timeline.
yeah, it's not meant to be a criticism in any way, I'm just trying to.
I'm not, no, I'm not.
I don't wanna make
I'm
more
just-
work for you.
No, I'm just trying to, you are in a sense by putting the timeline on things, which I do now anyway, even on myself sometimes, but it just doesn't always work out that way.
Okay, that's fine.
Because, you know, because I can tell you, let's just say I got 100 open cases, all right? Every month my goal is to review all the cases so that I can kind of keep up on them all. I'm lucky if I can get through just the rental properties. I make them a priority to get through them, to follow up with either a second notice of violation or a notice of violation. I start out with a letter, then I go to a notice violation, then I go to a second notice violation, then I go to a citation to appeal court. You know, so every month, but I only have time really, everything I can do is get through just the rental property. Never mind the other 4 slots that are all filled with, you know, regular open cases, old open cases, building permits. It becomes a question of time.
Okay.
So the idea is not a bad idea. You know, it's having, so we have talked about having that other person come in, you know.
Right.
You talked about your new laws that you passed, which I have used a couple times in a couple cases, but having the time to go through and do a full-fledged, case on every vacant property is impossible for me to do at this point, and keep up with what my primary objective was when I first started this job, was the rental properties. That was the primary objective, and I think that's one of the more important issues, is keeping up with those. Now, one of the ultimate compliments I got recently from a fire chief was that he thinks it's made a huge difference, the program
That's great.
that we've done in the village as far as prevention. You know, so I take that as a great compliment.
That is a great compliment.
But at the same time, I keep up on everything, so I mean.
No, I know, I was just thinking this would help you.
Well, because
Make it easier,
of
not-
a case like yesterday's, where you guys were privy to it because you were in the office when it all was happening, ends up
Those come up a lot.
taking up that day
Yep.
and part of the next day. To do
Yep.
paperwork, to do violations, to, you know,
Okay.
follow up on it. You know, John can attest to that because he ended up getting involved in it, and it takes up a lot of, he ended up coming in and it takes up a lot of his time.
Yep. Okay.
And
I
to your
just wanted to suggest it for.
to your point, Mark, in the 7 years I've been mayor, as I start year 8, I think the tenants and the inspections, I think that has maybe come up once or twice as an issue. Otherwise, it's worked and it's done what it was supposed to do. And honestly, I think that was just specific to COVID and having to postpone things. So that, to your point, has worked so well that I don't think we've even noticed that was a priority when you started 8, 9, 10 years ago, however long ago that was.
I don't think Deb was talking about what are we doing about it, she's talking about what's the time frame that's already on the record. If this, cause they get a building permit, it's gonna be 6 months, we know
Right.
it's 6 months. That's all, it's not,
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
what is already established, being transparent and people know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yep, thanks. Okay, it's springtime, so I've been thinking about the Fourth Ward Playground. And I was
Great.
wondering if, since you live in that neighborhood, you might wanna work with me on that, since you probably know a lot more about playgrounds than I do.
Well,
Since you have a kid.
Yeah.
Don't.
That's our own
okay,
little one in
we'll
the back
talk.
Yeah.
We started last year, right?
We did.
And made good progress. And,
Third one up
I
then?
think that was it.
I'm in the
Oh, no, I wanted to make, just mention that I think that our website, which I know we've been working on, needs to be a priority, because it's kind of, it's bad the way it
The village website?
is. Yes.
And
Lot
that's
of
actually
needs.
part of the discussion that got.
Okay.
Lot of needs to update, and
Yeah, no, I don't, my only comment is, needs to be a priority. We all
Got
know
it.
what it needs to be a priority.
that's coming up. He's gonna talk about that. Yep. Anything else, Deb?
That's it.
All right. Thank you. As we normally do at this point, since we're at the hour 40-minute mark, if students need us to sign off on things, you can bring your form up to a trustee. We typically do this.
Or you can stay.
You're all welcome to stay, of course.
Hunter's gonna stay, I know it.
But if you want us to sign off on your school necessary documents, that is fine.
Yeah. First of all,
Right.
guy look like a stupid.
Hunter, what local law was passed in the first final? What was the letter? No, it was the one regulating mini bikes. That was named after you and Ethan's.
Oh, sure. Yeah, if you want to.
That way, if we decide to go with that. But if you do that, I'll make sure you have heads
I'll
up.
have it done before the end of next week.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll see Justin. What's your name again? Eden Graham. Thank you.
We had.
Here's a question for you. My hope is that we table this, but how does the board formally deny it? Is there a way to deny it?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to?
So if they go to Jackson, leave the at the bottom.
They have the different committees,
Right next to
and
the
whoever chairs that committee puts forward the resolution. So you do a motion, you guys do motions so that anybody can do it. So technically, if there's not a motion to
Yes.
approve,
Yeah,
So it just basically just falls
They
away.
really need to.
I've been looking at if that approach properly with village government.
Yep, yeah.
A lot of this is what was here was
right,
and Okay, thank you guys. We are back. We have a couple old business items to discuss. The first item under old business is the proposed local law C. This is the one that would allow for a tax levy in excess of the tax cap. As a local law, we have introduced it. We've had our public hearing. My recommendation is that we do not act on this tonight. It wouldn't make sense to act on this tonight, waiting for the April 24th meeting to really hash out things, go over some of the changes and propose some of the changes that you guys will have after going more into the weeds on the budget. But that being said, if you guys want to make any comments, statements, or whatever, it's yours. What is that sound? Oh, it's a vehicle outside.
Somebody with a really bad belt.
Yeah. Does anybody want to make a discussion regarding this, or do we need a motion to table, or we just don't do
now
anything?
you do a motion to table.
So if we,
Second.
thank you.
Just be clear, the
Something's going
motion
in
to
at
table.
McDonald's, did you guys know that?
What? Somebody's been working in there the last couple of weeks.
Yep, from the Bullish Farmer Store.
That is all fantastic, but not related to our current motion to table.
Rob, just be clear, the motion to table simply means because we're tabling it in case we need to.
Yes.
If we don't, it just goes away.
Yes.
Right, well, we're tabling it until to
budget.
talk about it after the budget
After
meeting,
the
right.
Who made the motion to table?
Just curious.
And who seconded that?
Doug made it, motion, I seconded.
Alright, thank you. Any further discussion on this? All in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries, thank you. Alright, next item. Dan, I'm gonna take lead on this one? And just as a reminder, at this point in this discussion, as a mayor who would be working with someone like this, I will express what my desires would be, but as an HFCS employee, I will be recusing myself from any votes or other discussions with this.
That's good, because he said if we don't do it, you're fired.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. On the record.
So I met with Pat Daly about this a couple days ago to talk about the possibility of hiring someone. Well, the school would be doing, just so everyone knows, the school would be doing the actual hiring, although my proposal would be the interviews would be conducted by through sort of a tripartite thing with the town and village in the school if we decided to do it, to run our websites and to handle any kind of PR stuff. So for example, getting out the newsletter that we just did and all these other kind of things. Also, one thing I mentioned to Pat was that, I don't know how it is for a school district, but for us, there's a lot of deadlines, right, with posting this for upcoming election and this and that and the other thing, and getting this thing out on time and making sure things are properly noticed. We would really want somebody who would be on top of that stuff to make sure that it's timely when we need it done and all that. Second thing is that
Dan, can you speak up, please?
Oh, sure. The second thing is, Rob, you and I talked about this. The village, and you mentioned the village website is really outdated. Rob, you had mentioned that, and full disclosure, I don't know anything about website development. It's not my thing. But the current program used to run the website is not only outdated, but complicated.
Yeah, you have to know code.
You have to code. Yeah. I could show you right now, basically.
No, we're good.
Great, carry on.
No.
I was so excited for a minute. All right.
So, that's kind of the long and short of it. They would develop a new website for us, run the website, take care of PR stuff. I would also like to find out if this person, if we hired someone, they would also take care of software issues all the way around. So, for example, if, basically be not just our website guy, but our web guy.
We have a tech person for actual computers and software in the building, but tech-wise and the website, I think that's what you're talking about separately, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So
like an IT guy.
Yeah, like thank you, Bobby. An IT. See, you got the terminology.
Look out.
We have an IT firm on an annual basis for IT stuff within the building and computers and so on, but this person would need to be fluent with all the web-related stuff to do what they need to do.
And perhaps if they can do it, that would be maybe we could just utilize this person and not need another vendor. I'm not sure, but the long and short of it is that the salary expectation would be most likely between $45,000 and $55,000 a year. They would be 50% has to be within the school. They would actually be a employee of Hoosick Falls Central School, which means they would be in the teachers or I don't know if it'd be teachers retirement. I don't know if you get into that if you're not a teacher. Well, whatever the retirement system is for people who are non-instructional staff at the school. The school would pay all the additional costs of employment. That would be your health insurance and vacation and all those kind of things. However, with one exception, the cost of the state retirement would be borne by the parties equally. So if the town did it, the village did it, the school district, and for easy numbers, let's say that the salary is $60,000, that's $20,000 per party. We would each pay whatever the state retirement is for $20,000. So, speaking, what's the business administrator's name? I can't think of it.
Emily Sanders.
Emily, thank you. Talking to her, she thought about $6,000 a year, so be about $2,000. So I said to them, what do you anticipate all in? Because that's really, key of what the board's going to want to know. How much is this going to cost us? Under $20,000 is basically what I'm told all in.
Did you say how much?
Under $20,000.
Okay, I thought you said 120. I was gonna say.
I did too,
no.
and I was like,
no, man.
But that's a dump truck.
Well, that's quite the website.
Almost a dump truck.
Yeah. It spits out pure gold when you want it.
20K. Okay.
Under 20K.
All right, gotcha.
I think the number we were thinking was around 18,000, but that's depending on who we get to apply, how much experience they have, and You know, obviously, if we bring somebody in who is greatly experienced, we're gonna be more towards the 55 number. We bring in somebody less experienced, maybe more towards the 45 number. But there's some other things that Pat pointed out to me. One of them is, I didn't know this, when you have a local chamber of commerce, they handle a lot of this coordination between different, the school and the village and everything. Pat was speaking to that they do,
We don't have a,
yeah, we don't. That was his point. That was his point, that we don't have a chamber of commerce to do that coordination for us. That would normally, like if you were down in Troy, you know, we would have you know, this type of thing. We just don't have that. So that's another thing to think about. And then yeah, that's what I got for you.
Just to briefly speak on the website, I have already figured out in my head how I would want WordPress, which is a standard website approach, would work, that would empower our clerk and our office staff to go in, throw in a notice, and it shows up in the website in a particular spot and is logged there. I know how I would want to organize the website better so it's easier to find things. It's getting that done that is such a massive lift that I've tried for years to do that, and every time you start, it's like something else comes up. So from my vantage point as mayor, I would love to have someone who can take our vision, my vision of what would work and our vision of what would work, and make that happen. And that would be a huge asset, and then convert all the stuff that we have now over to there as well, set up for new things to go in, so when the minutes are done and they're approved, this meaning the clerk sends it to that web person, the web person posts it, and it's just done. So
what I would envision is a website that's everything. If we're gonna pay someone and that's gonna be their job to develop all this stuff and do all this, it's everything. So for example, I'm an employee, there's a separate employee login, and I wanna know, I don't know, what's the plan summary document for my health insurance, for my MVP plan. I can log in there, it's all there. Everything.
Okay.
Can I just say something to that? Because I'm also involved in this a little bit too.
Please, Mark.
One thing, the IT part of it can't happen. There's no way that can happen because of, you know, you're talking about having somebody that's taking care of the social stuff, the web page and, you know, announcements and things like that. And when you start getting the school, the village, and the town involved, you're gonna have that one person staying pretty darn busy most of the time with submittals and stuff like that. And when you're talking about our IT stuff, our programming and stuff like that, and within the building that we're doing, whether it's the town or the village, that you can't have we have a whole company, you know, who is our IT, you know, for the town, and for the village has the
Village
same
has one
company.
as well.
It's like, I don't see how you can even consider that as part of it.
Well, I mean, it's not possible. It's not possible. I'm just brainstorming here. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not a web person.
well, I think it's software and web design and all that stuff is a very different skill set than being an IT person.
Yeah, it's a fine idea, but we have IT covered.
If it's
so
not possible, I was just trying to think of if it was all relative to each other, we could reduce the cost of that $18,000, even if it's $5,000 or $10,000 a year, it makes it a lot more practical. But I mean, if we're gonna have someone develop a website, it should have everything.
But wait, we could have a website that's just ours. You mean that so like the school one, like community people can go in, you can go into it and get to your classroom and all that stuff. But also community people, so that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, you typically, on a lot of websites, you have an employee portal where you can log in as an employee.
So you're not talking about putting the town, the village, and the school on the website?
No, the only thing the three of those have in common is one employee.
Yeah, okay.
That's shared.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, there would be links maybe.
Oh, you have to link from one to the other.
Links to each other's things.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's
maybe we put stuff about the town ice rink on our thing.
Always describe it as a hub, you know, like the one entity that's the hub that is making those links to go to the school easily. Go to the school, easily go to the village, easily go to the town.
So you type in Hoosick Falls.
Check it out.
So it's all kind of interconnected.
You type in Hoosick Falls and the school comes up, the town comes up, the village comes up. Maybe people will learn the difference between town and village.
If you were,
I don't.
No.
Well, you just said type in Hoosick Falls and town comes up.
Yeah.
People don't know the difference between Hoosick Falls and town and Hoosick. Yeah, that's it.
But not to get into the weeds, but the idea of what you search in, that all ties into
Yes.
SEO, which is part of what a webmaster and a web person would do in the page design.
I have two things to raise. One is, when you have one person, that person isn't there, you don't get notices out. It's usually better to rely on a firm that has a deep bench that can cover vacation, sickness, somebody leaving. So if we're talking about compliance stuff being here, it's kind of weak to have one person there. Secondly, and we have to think about this, is come a month from now, when the local planning committee starts, the state is going to provide a consultant to create a whole, either on our webpage or a new web page for all the information around New York Forward.
Right.
So maybe there's an opportunity to get something built out of that, rather than, I wouldn't tie them into our webpage, but maybe there's an opportunity that's going to happen in a month to 2 months. So we should probably maybe talk to the state about what that is and how deep they can go, because maybe there's some kind of platform to at least get this ball rolling.
I mean,
So,
I use Squarespace.
I was just gonna.
I use
was just
GoDaddy.
gonna say,
Yeah.
Square.
So-
So.
I want to speak to both those concerns just because I have some information. In the way that WordPress would work, it would involve people having logins to be able to do something. So in terms of a notice, all of our office staff would be able to log into a WordPress site, type in a notice, and the website, if programmed correctly, puts it in the right spot, and organizes it. That's
So we
the
have to be organized, who's going to do that?
That is what the web person would do. Set that up, and then they just put it in, and it's there, and it's there forever, and it logs it there forever. That's how WordPress
But
works.
say that guy was out sick, would Olivia be able to put in that
Once
information?
once the website is made, that person doesn't enter the notices. The office staff does. And that's the biggest bottleneck right now is I have to be the one, because I'm the only one who knows the coding, to put that up there. But for something simpler like a New York Forward thing, a free thing like Squarespace or Weebly, that's a very easy thing to set up. That's very easy to do. You don't need to code it. It's just drag and drop things on, and Megan just did it.
But I'm thinking maybe they will make it, you can get something a little bit more complicated than that. We also have, we're gonna get $200,000 to $300,000 for marketing and branding in that, and social media is gonna be, so we need just to set it up with whatever resources we have to really push it. I agree about the sophistication of it, maybe they can help set that.
That would be great to pursue.
So you're saying roll the New York Forward into.
At least set a platform up that we can,
So the idea, I just wanna make sure I understand, the idea would be that perhaps the first couple of years, the New York Forward could contribute something to the overall cost of it. Obviously, New York Forward isn't forever. So how many years do you think that's for the first 3 years?
It's a couple $100,000 for a marketing and branding campaign, so I don't know if we got.
That would very easily pay for
Would
the
this
first
person
couple of
write,
years.
who writes the press releases and who writes the information?
They don't write the press releases.
No,
they receive the press releases. They receive the notices that are done by whoever, and they just get it up on the
So
website.
it's not a public relations person, it's just a computer person.
Well, we could have it as a public relations person as well. Like, if I wanted to
I
put
thought
something
that's
out,
who's doing the social
I could draft it, send it to you, and then send it to them for revision. I mean, if it's someone who has PR expertise, like when we had Brian Bushner, who was a PR guy, he could look at something and go, "Oh, this is a thing you should consider or not consider."
So,
Wait, let me finish the question. So the social media stuff, this is also gonna be, are they gonna do the Facebook stuff or Instagram, whatever?
That's
we
not
do?
hard to do, so it's fine if they would do that or not.
I think one of the things that Pat talked about, he had some statistics there, about school district Facebook pages, and he took a look at the school districts that are similarly situated, the enrollment numbers and stuff, and I'm making up numbers here. Let's say Granville, which is about the same size, had 20,000 friends or followers or whatever, and we had like 5.
Yeah.
So part of this is also figuring out how to get the information out there to get more people.
That's what Bushner knows, is how to make Facebook work for you.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I guess
that's what
yeah.
any web person
How to
would
work the
know.
algorithms, what you need to
For
do.
website, like when I
Just put a bunch of hate speech.
when I just built my website,
Mhm.
it literally links to social media. So if you
Yep.
post on one platform, you can set up the algorithm to post on multiple platforms.
Yes.
But somebody also has,
That's it.
right, but somebody also has to monitor those platforms all the time, because when garbage goes on there.
Yes.
Well, you could say like I mean,
It's
you
an
want to keep
administrator,
open
that's
comments,
Yep.
but yeah, I think
And
it's-
and the WordPress that I would love to use. There's tons of different plugins to collect visitor data, to see where they go, to see if there's broken links, to see when they stop.
And if somebody asks a question,
Yeah, it comes.
on Facebook?
Yeah, so there's like, if I went onto my website, it shows you like who visited, when, what they said, what they commented, all in one spot.
A PR web person
Right,
would
but if
take
there's a
that and run
question,
with it.
what happens? Does it mean this person we're hiring can't necessarily answer that question?
On
It needs to be
Facebook?
one of us.
Well,
Yeah.
that,
Right now, I'm the
No, I know, but
administrator,
this
so I would.
You
person
have to be
becomes-
organized to manage this,
Okay.
that's a board.
I mean,
Yeah.
because Facebook moves like this, so when you got something going on, and, you know, you're in the classroom, and we're all busy, and that person's sitting there, and they know how to put a message in,
Yeah.
but they don't know what the message is.
Right.
They can't speak.
They don't, yes, they can't speak for us.
But that
Like,
person-
a message saying like, hey, this.
We can get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That person could set up another person that the board decides, like maybe the clerk or
To
maybe,
make
you
those
know,
decisions.
whatever to
Right.
to
Link to
respond.
that.
Key
Okay.
user.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think we could probably sort that out afterwards, but, so my kind of thought is, Mark, are you interested in having like a three-way meeting with Pat about it? Because ultimately, I think it needs sort of a tripartite thing. So, and then if you guys have questions, just send them to me, and then from the village anyway, and,
And we'll have to adjust our budget to make room for this, cause it's not in the budget right now.
yeah, and
And depending on the start date, we wouldn't have to put in the full year, because it would loop over into the next fiscal year.
there are a lot of different big ticket things that we've looked at, that maybe this would be nice, maybe this would be nice, this would be helpful. And I think we need to put them all on the board, look at them,
Mhm.
and see when we have our budget numbers, which ones we can afford and which ones we can't.
Yep,
And prioritize them, so we can get the ones we really need.
Yep.
from what you guys are talking about though, you're almost sounding like you wanna hire two separate people.
Yeah, I think that's.
And
One
then I
for
think that's
PR and-
one for PR and one for website, social media development.
in my, oh, I'm sorry, keep going.
Which, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but you're not, I mean, I just think if you're gonna budget to actually make this a salaried position, there should be somebody that can do both, that you trust to do both. I don't think that's a smart way to go about it, because then you are gonna end up having to hire two separate people
Yeah, we
and
don't want
spend
that.
more money.
I think it was more my understanding or misunderstanding of what was proposed when we talked about it last time, was that that person was gonna do all that, but if it's,
Right, which
Transparent and
that would
something
make,
else, that's
that
fine
would
too.
make sense, that the person you hire is gonna do all of it.
I will follow up with Pat
You would-
tomorrow.
Yeah,
You would wanna trust them that if they're developing the website and doing it to all that you want it to look like, they should be also to interpret what to say on said
Yes.
platform as well.
I think from the village's perspective, we're like 95%, we need someone to make us a new website.
Well, and I also would be leery, and I know it sounds like nice, it's a cool like little partnership to make money, but I would be leery of giving this one person all of this. I mean,
Control, right.
well, it's not even just control too, it's like, that's a lot to ask of one person.
Divide it two ways.
To divide it that way, and like, okay, so, yeah, they're hired by all of us, but I mean, how many announcements they're making for the school, I mean, I just wouldn't
Right.
want us to kind of be on the back burner and still be footing the, you
For
know,
someone to
third
make
of
a
the bill.
WordPress website
Yeah.
and move things over, it would take a trained professional who does this a couple weeks to put up a design,
Okay.
make some adjustments over a couple weeks with whoever's gonna help with that.
Mhm.
So if you take that and divide that person amongst the other responsibilities, over 3 or 4 months, you're gonna have a new functional website.
so wait, so after the website's built and up and everybody knows how to use it and people in every office can post on it, why do we have that guy or that girl?
Because there'll be new ideas that come up, we need a new page, we want something else that has to go.
I think my own view about it is it needs to be more than just yours information. It needs to be a marketing device for the community
Especially
and
now.
economic development. It's not
Yeah.
just, here's a notice. It's gotta be something you look at
That's a
other
clerical
municipalities.
person.
They sell
Right.
their community on that website.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
You gotta think
Right.
about that.
And I talked to this new guy who moved into town, his name is Mason Wiley, and he does, his thing is marketing, and I think we should bring him in. But
Yeah.
anyway, he, that's what he said, I said, because I was talking from a Hoosick Rising point of view, asking him where to advertise, and he said, not that, he said you need a website, and it needs to stay fresh.
Yep.
It needs to have great pictures, and
Yep.
it needs to be able to be reached easily. I mean, he knows all those things,
And
and much more than I do, but, yeah, it needs to be,
is there a deadline on when we need to make the decision,
Yes,
with
good question.
this daily,
School budget?
the school budget?
School budget's a month after us. School budget runs July 1st.
So I think
But
we do.
our budget will be approved first, so it's almost like we need to be the first deciding person.
And I told him we would probably give him.
Yeah.
What he said.
Don't forget the window.
He's got to head out, so.
I'll give him a call tomorrow. But to your point, Dad, you're right. Website should constantly be refreshed. All the board minutes, all the everything on there. Maybe we can even automate FOIL requests. You do it electronically. I know some places have that.
Let's not go that far.
No, but if we can just have it electronically sent to the clerk, as opposed to someone sitting there with.
That's already set up in a sense.
Oh, I don't know.
But things like that, certainly requests and things like that, that's a good place to put it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as
If
keeping
it's a
the
functional
website fresh, I mean, I guess I'm only speaking on behalf of myself, but I think I'm in line with everybody on this. Between the town and the village, you're talking about a lot of people that are the trustees or the town board members that have full-time jobs. Just nobody has the time to do that constant work.
Yep.
Or the expertise. I wouldn't have a clue if you put me in front of them.
Yep.
It wouldn't go well. Just saying. Well, Bobby Bryant.
Not me either, Dan, trust me.
So we're gonna talk about this in the context of the budget then.
In the budget, individually and as a collective next time. Yeah.
Not that bad.
Do you guys have anything else you want to share about that?
No, that's. I'll follow up with him tomorrow and get better clarity on how much we're looking for between the crossover of somebody that can actually do PR work.
Okay. Why do I have an old? That's an old slide. I'm sorry about this.
You're 4 minutes over, Rob.
What's that? Oh my gosh, what is happening with all my slides? Oh no, this is right. Okay.
It's not me.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's usually you.
New business. As we have done, this will be the 8th time. We have a resolution. This is a resolution that would, as we've done in the past, authorize payment of invoices through a third-party funded escrow account pertaining to development of the new water supply wells and associated infrastructure for the village. As we have set up an agreement with St. Cobain and Honeywell, they throw money in an escrow account when we have engineering and attorney costs specific to the new infrastructure installation. It gets covered. So just as we have done 7 previous times, legal fees $2,001 and environmental engineering fees at $32.67. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Hoosick Falls in regular session, duly convenes files, that the board does hereby authorize the payments of invoices from Sterling Environmental in the amount of $32.67 and Gokers Tingley in the amount of $2,001 to be paid from the escrow accounts. I
Why is it May
have
10th?
the
Why is
date
it May 10th,
wrong.
23?
Because I forgot to change that. So let me. This is in Microsoft
It's
Word.
on,
And,
on top, it's wrong on top too.
It's right.
oh, because the agreement, the original
Oh, it
agreement.
goes back, it's
It
post.
goes, yeah, it's just
post-date.
referencing the
Yes.
original.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
Yes,
because it's
my-
up on top as well, that's why.
Yeah, that's the date of the
No,
agreement
the
that was made.
May 10th was up top. is what
Yeah,
I saw.
sorry,
Okay.
that-
No,
yeah.
that's fine.
So I need someone to offer the resolution and second.
I'll make a motion as amended.
It doesn't need to be amended. That's proper. It's referencing the previous agreement. So I
Not
don't.
the first statement, right?
What's that?
The first statement wasn't.
No,
It's referencing the resolution that was approved,
Oh,
that
at the
approved the
regular board
agreement.
meeting, okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
All right, so introduced by Doug, seconded by Bobby. Further discussion? As with the resolution, this is a roll call vote, so I will keep track of it and go in order, so on. Trustee Shudding,
Yay.
Trustee Hanselman,
I'm gonna abstain.
Recuse.
Recuse,
Yep.
as an employee of St. Cobain.
Sure. Thank you. Trustee Alter,
Yes.
Trustee Walreed,
Yes.
Used to work for
Trustee Sauer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ryan,
Yes.
and I am a yes. So that is 6 yeses and 1 recusal. All right, thank you. Let me go back to this. Transfer station.
I'm in there, Kristen.
Transfer station, Deb?
Okay. I'm gonna do this sort of quickly because I'm not giving a final report or a final suggestion. I'm just gonna give you things to think about. So, I've been going over this and trying to figure out how we can save some money because we're losing money on the, on it, and we should be at least breaking even, just like the water, when we talked about it last year. We're not, gonna make a fortune, but we wanna at least break even. So, and I need to get a couple more numbers from Denise, which is why I'm not ready. But, our expenditures are about $46,000, and I think we can make those things up, doing either or a combination of some of the following things. Raising the permit fees. There are different, the village residents pay $10, town $20, town residents, many of whom use it for their regular garbage and don't pay for any other garbage on their own. The resident C&D is $30 and the non-resident C&D is $50. And I think, Kenny left. I think that, we said at one point that we charge less than everybody else for the C&D, so I wanna look at that, cause we get more C&D, so that helps. But, we have to make sure that we're not so far below that we're really losing money, but not so high that they're gonna go someplace else. But I'll get to that. Okay, so we can do the permits, we can raise any of those fees, any or all or some of those fees. We could ask the town to contribute, since years ago, before your time, there was, the town used to use a Urswama.
Yep.
And they pulled out of that for whatever reason, but town people are still using it, so I think asking the town for a portion of that might be a good thing, might be helpful. And then what else? And then there are detailed things we can do on the permits, like we can have them attached to cars so people can't switch them up and stuff like that. We could also, with those fees, if we think it's gonna be too high, we could do a senior citizen thing if that helps with those sorts of things. Cause I think that could be an issue for some people.
Could we do a weight? A weight type thing?
We've looked into that, and scales are
It looks
super
so
expensive.
expensive, even a used one, we checked into that, there was a person.
They're almost dump truck
Cause
expensive.
because right now, what Charlie, and I don't know, he's gonna have to train somebody else with the tires.
That's what it
He
was,
just
you drove your truck down.
estimated.
You wait a second and then.
Based on
Hey Deb,
yeah,
I hate to throw an idea out that may be unpopular, but what about the possibility of doing away with C&D if it's so expensive? I don't know if
C&D is the commingled. That's so expensive.
Okay.
Because the commingled is going up double. The price of it this year is gonna go up double, I think, more than double.
What did we say, Deb's gonna go up to like 46 or
Yeah.
4,700?
Yeah, some ridiculously huge amount, and most of the village, we don't get our commingled stuff picked up. So there's really, unless somebody's throwing a ginormous party, there's no reason to need the commingled for us. And as for the cardboard, that can go into another container, and that doesn't cost us anything anyway. So we would still have be able to collect cardboard, just not the bottles and cans. And at some point, Brett, like you said, some kind of more accurate system of measuring. And then there are the other little different fees, like what tires cost, what a tire costs, with a rim, without a rim.
We need to look at those, you have all that information.
Yeah, I have all that, and
we need to look at other, Deb and I did it
yeah, Bobby was a
yesterday,
huge help, and Denise has been ginormous help.
And looking at the other, Deb has Matt Hurley gave Deb what the other municipalities in
Oh, that's great.
are charging, so we can compare what they're charging for, say, a tire versus what we're charging, and all
some
the way
places
around.
we're on par, and
Yeah.
some places we
Right.
weren't.
There's some discrepancies between the other ones, but most times we're close, but there's room to move up.
So that's where we're at, and I think, I think that'll help us with our budget, and maybe I can get this information before we actually do the budget, but we can save.
We can also expect to make changes, and we can use that as a reflection of what our anticipated income is in that line.
Yeah.
So we can make that change.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the changes I made in anticipation of income is the fact that Rensselaer County sales tax has been outperforming excessively well. Denise had just kind of plugged in this year's, and I was like, no, that's not how it's been. It continues to go up, so I'm going to anticipate that as revenue.
And then there are, the other thing about the commingled is, not only does it cost us money, but that thing that crushes it needs to be, fixed often. So, that's another big
And the
expense.
fix is not cheap.
No. So we're losing,
Especially since we all need COVID.
so we're losing money, probably about $37,000 a year, which we can't, I think, this is my scribbling, so I have to double check that.
I think
with
you're
Denise.
right, Deb, at least 25 to 30K.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if we can make up any of that, with,
I think Brunswick does, you have to have their bag.
you have to what?
So
Brunswick is, you have to have their specific
Two
bag.
bags.
what
Yeah.
about stickers? So there's
Yeah, we do, but.
we do.
I feel like a
We have a red
long
sticker and
time
an
ago
orange
they
sticker.
We
tried
did
it.
have stickers.
For each bag, so you're paying a certain
They
amount
do.
to get a sticker.
They do.
Oh, we do?
They-
Yeah, they do
charge-
paper
they
bags,
pay
yeah,
for
there
bags.
are
No.
individual fees for
They
the
already
different
do
things
pay
that
for
they charge.
Oh.
For
Yeah, no, we're already
Brush
charging.
is free and cardboard's free, I think, but all the other stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So
Oh,
we
it's
charge-
scrap metal's free,
Yeah, no,
but the other
they
stuff costs.
pay for bag, town residents pay for bag,
Okay.
and so.
So,
Should we even accept, do you think, C and D debris, like specifically shingles, or
They pay.
norms?
if they're paying more and we're making, if that's the area that we're making a little bit of money on, then we should take it.
That's where most of our revenue comes in
Is
out
C
there.
and D?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, I thought we'd be losing shingles, they're so
No.
heavy.
No, we charge
The-
different rates for the different.
The only concern I have about the shingles is kind of how to quantify in the policy what a trailer full of shingles is. If somebody has 4 feet of a 4-foot trailer versus
Well,
a 6 or 8 foot.
one of the other villages, they do it by truckload too, and they put a 4-foot bed, or a 6-foot
Right, the
bed,
bed,
and
the bed size determines the rate.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that's good. I don't know if we have that clarity right now. I
No,
think
we don't.
it's-
We have a
My
small, medium, and
experience is
large.
by
Right,
Chuck.
Chuck says, like, exactly.
He
Yes,
just,
yeah, Chuck could do it in his sleep, but,
Okay.
yeah, so,
it's a lag.
that's what it is.
All right, that's great,
I'm
Deb.
sorry I
Thank
don't
you.
have it like all set and done, but.
That's all right.
That's fine.
Any other questions for Deb?
It's
Thank you for taking that on, Deb. I know it's a big project, but that's
So we're losing 25 to 30,000 a year?
Yeah.
Well, you
Probably.
Without knowing what our revenue is at this time, Dan, it's hard to
Yeah,
say
but
that, but.
if we could make that up, that's 2/3 of that truck payment.
Oh, yeah, no, it's.
Well, I don't know that we're gonna make it that much, but we could put a dent in it.
Bobby, you said we're paying for the, to get rid of the sticks and brush and debris. That's a huge amount, isn't it?
Oh, we
Like,
forgot
how
to
does that-
discuss that.
Like, how much are we paying to get rid of that stuff?
That
To get
huge.
ground, we have to get that last year, I think it was like
9,000?
more than that, I think, it was.
Well, I think we had gone a couple years.
Right,
We'd gone too
right,
long.
right.
Is that part of that?
A couple years ago.
What, the brush?
That
The
huge
brush.
brush pile getting ground down.
Oh,
That-
that's right across the street?
No, not this one, the one at
no,
the transfer station.
Oh, yeah.
That should be part of the cost.
Yeah, that's involved then, that's included, I think.
But what her point is, it's a free service, but it's also a big ticket for us to have to take care of.
Right, I know, but what's gonna happen to all that brush if we don't
I'm
take
just
it?
throwing
I'm
out
telling you,
there.
No,
and
no.
and
Throwing out
Bobby,
there.
we talked about this about.
That makes sense.
Sure, I'm just.
So, I mean, it's something we could talk about, but I don't know, you know what else I can do is look at what the other communities do.
Yeah.
Cause if nobody else does it, we shouldn't do it.
I know some people that won't be happy, but
Is there anything else you want to mention about the transfer station?
No, I can't wait till it's all done. It's
All right.
garbage.
I'm with you. You wanted to bring up the brush pile across the street, which came from our storm that had the
Our
emergency. We
storm.
opened that up for people to
Oh, I
drop
got a
off.
lecture about that pile the other day.
Go for it.
So,
Lecture.
in speaking with Kenny, we talked, we'd like to, Kenny and reached out to, I think we talked to Rick at one time, he talked to you, Bruce did, he said he talked to you. Bruce didn't talk to you?
No, not about that.
No, just not about I'm just saying, I'm talking about your fire department expertise, what I'm asking you.
Oh, burden?
Yeah, about burning, we're talking about doing a controlled burn and with the fire departments, when the burn is allowed, after May 15th.
A celebratory bonfire.
Is that something that a fire department would, I know you've spoken to Robert Bourne today.
So, yeah, he's gotta talk to Robert.
Right, and Robert said that he could, yeah, I was just picking your brain because you're, on fire
I don't know why you don't reach out to Gallivan or somebody and see if he comes and chips it up for free.
No, they don't chip it up for free. We already,
We've tried.
We already tried. We already have them.
I know North Stream, which pays somebody to come in and tub grind theirs also.
We do
Yeah.
too. Yeah, we do too.
But
at the transfer
this,
station.
that location over there, we don't have the option to burn for
You can't do it at the
a
transfer
huge
station.
amount of reasons, but this one we do.
Right, but what we wanna do is, what Robert said, it'd have to be split up into like 3 or 4, or maybe more than that, quantified, piles, so that you can do it, have them spread it, yeah,
It is.
it is a pile. You know, it's quite a storm.
I'll bring the
Yeah,
mushrooms.
and the problem is, the longer it sits out there, even though it says no dumping, all the way around it's roped off, people have blinders because they
People
just,
are
they keep
dumping.
dumping and dumping and dumping.
People are adding to it.
So I
Nope.
wanna get that out of here
Not
as soon as we
kidding.
possibly can. May 16th.
That was my
as soon as
reaction
they,
as well. Can't even.
we can have a loud
Can't
burn.
even.
But if you guys are, that's only if you guys are in favor of looking into that option, because otherwise Kenny already got a price on it, it's gonna cost us anywhere between $10,000 and $12,000 to get that ground right there.
I like the idea of marshmallows.
Yeah, s'mores.
S'mores.
That fire
Free
size, you
liquor.
can cook the Stay Puft Marshmallow, man.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
I did reach out to DEC to figure out what the rule is on the burn ban, and they're gonna, and us doing that, so they're gonna get back to us. So.
And I looked at the DEC regulations, I believe the way I interpret it is that the municipality they can burn if it's done by the fire department, as long as it's not done at a transfer station where they're collecting the items as like, what for example, like you were talking about.
So just to back you up there, the fire department will not start no fires. Your highway department has to be.
Oh, that's Kenny's, we have no problem being.
A lot of paperwork to fill out.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sure.
I bet.
This is the first match, right? Yeah. No, we have no problem with that, but as long as we have the liability reasons, we're okay with it. Right?
Yeah.
As long as the board's in favor of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would be very happy to see that.
What's our fire
How taken
insurance
care of
like?
that way.
A long ways from the building. We have a metal building. We have a metal building.
Alright, so thank you. I have this on the agenda. We have discussed this a fair amount. We've already set aside a meeting, and we're gonna be setting up meetings for when Denise is back for all of us to sit down and really get into the weeds. I'm gonna be rolling out probably another 4, 5, or 6 sheets to review water rate history, sewer rate history, salaries, department requests versus what's in the budget to allow us to really drill down into it. It's taken me years to feel mostly comfortable with knowing every detail of the budget. There's just so much information to know, and very little has changed historically. But I want to really change the way the paperwork works to empower department heads and trustees who oversee departments to be able to understand and fully advocate on it. So that's all coming.
Just a question on the budget, and this is the police department. I noticed that about 35% of the calls last month was in the town.
Let me go back to that.
And I think it was 76, that's substantial. And I was wondering, A, can we break those calls when we get the calls in town, what they look like, what they are?
So, right now with the current CAD system, no. So when Officer Devitt does it, sometimes it'll be in the town,
That's not it.
but in order for him to break it down
And what it is?
what it is, so it could be like ours. So for example, it says town, it could be our traffic stop, but it shows as the town. Does that
Okay,
make
so that's
sense?
not real clear then.
So it's not real clear. So it could have been our traffic stop, but if they do it at True Value or Tops, it shows as a town call, because that's how the system generates it.
But one of the advantages we've had with Bernie both working for the PD and working for county dispatch, and county dispatch knows this and is good with it, is that he has the time as a dispatch person to provide the village this information on a monthly basis. So we have a really good idea, more than probably most others, or definitely more than most others, which ones that we respond to are technically outside of the town.
So we responded to 27 calls, right?
Yeah,
You're saying
76 was handled by state police.
27 versus
27 were
262.
outside out of 281.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 280.
So
But
it's 10%.
For village.
I would say on average it's been historically 5 to 10%,
They
and
didn't make those.
that's one of the reasons that we have this data here is because we've been noticing it, and I wanted to make sure that that data is kind of part of the record and an understanding of what the police do. I was very surprised when they mentioned how many calls in the town did not get responses because everyone was busy, whether it was troopers, counties, and they would get the first calls, and if they're all taken up, they would reach out to us since we're local, and then we would hand
Or they
off the
wouldn't
call
even-
to them when they respond.
They wouldn't even call us sometimes.
Yeah, so I was very surprised. I forget where I put that. Oh, this one. That was a
On
lot.
the other,
Yeah, So, all right.
9 times out of 10, if it's really, it's gotta be something that needs somebody there right now, that we go.
Yeah.
Like something
Otherwise-
going on at the school or something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
school, we go, every
Right.
single call at the school, we go. We
Mhm.
don't care what it is, we
Which
go.
you should, right,
Thank you.
I think we have an agreement, don't we have an agreement with them or something?
Nothing on
No.
paper, but we
No.
just have it in practice.
So
Just
most
do it.
It's our
It's just something to do.
yeah.
So if something happens at Hoosick or Hoosick Falls, we go, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Thank you.
If it's a bad traffic accident, that sounds like there's like entrapment or really serious injury, we go.
Do we have bad accidents on Route 7? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The tractor trailer,
It's
I'll tell
down
you where it
also.
was.
Yeah.
Not there.
So anything else you guys want to say about the budget? All right. Hearing none, unless you guys have anything else you want to bring up, I will entertain a motion. And I added a little piece here to enter executive session to discuss personal matters and receive advice from counsel with no business to be conducted at the conclusion of the executive session.
I'll make a motion.
All right. Further discussion on that? All in favor? Aye, opposed or abstentions? All right, we are officially moving into executive session at 8:25 p.m.
Who first?